up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. Can't tell if we're dreaming now. We watch as the fire falls down. One thing playing on our minds. Time stops and we don't make a sound. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. Champions of the night. I'm ready to falling on the ground. Long day, but we won't back down. One thing playing on our minds. Long wait, but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. Can't tell if we're dreaming now. We watch as the fire falls down. One thing playing on our minds. Time stops and we don't make a sound. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. Champions of the night. I'm ready to falling on the ground. Long day, but we won't back down. One thing playing on our minds. Long wait, but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. I'm ready to love. Long wait, but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. Can't tell if we're dreaming now. We watch as the fire falls down. One thing playing on our minds. Time stops and we don't make a sound. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. Champions of the night. I'm ready to falling on the ground. Long day, but we won't back down. One thing playing on our minds. Long wait, but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. love stops and we don't make a sound. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. Champions of the night, I'm ready to falling on the ground. Long day, but we won't back down. One thing playing on our minds. Long wait, but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. The champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. We are the champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. Can't tell if we're dreaming now. We watch as the fire falls down. One thing playing on our minds. Time stops and we don't make a sound. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. Champions of the night. I'm ready to falling on the ground. Long day, but we won't back down. One thing playing on our minds. Long wait, but we won't give up now. You crave the love I gave, and we'll do it again. A cold night getting warmer now. The ground shakes as our love gets loud. The champions of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting type, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here. 5 taking on Kharghar Ke Ladke. A name that I haven't really seen on the circuit, but one that's here to prove their worth. Aggressive 5 going to be on the dire side for this matchup. It is, after all, a best of 3. And I think it's fairly safe to say that Kharghar Ke Ladke are the ones that are playing from a position of advantage, because we've seen a lot what Aggressive 5 can do. We have never seen Kharghar Ke Ladke playing Dota on the main stage before. The winner of this particular best of 3 heads over to the LAN finale of Dew Arena 2017 to fight it out between themselves for a prize pool of 20 lakhs. Aggressive 5 going to start off with the Clockwork and the Underlord bans, while Kharghar Ke Ladke going to ban out the Venomancer and the Night Stalker. Nothing really surprising here. I think the meta has gone into stealth mode for the most part. The real big reveals on which are the powerhouse picks in the current meta will come at TI7. TI7, of course, due to happen later in August. Aggressive 5, first pick on the board for them. Let's see what they choose to go for. Now, they have made a switch to their roster, which includes Goredgo, that is 835, former Entity Gaming player playing in their lineup, as opposed to Batosai, who's now moved on to play with another squad soon to be announced. Kharghar Ke Ladke, meanwhile, I wish I had some knowledge bombs to drop about them, but the element of surprise does lie in their favor, so we should see some wacky picks. I would like to see some wacky picks coming out from them. However, A5 going to open up with the Shadow Shaman as their first pick. Good control, good pushing potential, a well-rounded hero, and one that doesn't really give away too much information. I mean, you know that it is going to be a 4 or 5 position Shadow Shaman for now, but you know, you don't really want to pick up heroes that work to counter the Shadow Shaman. After all, he is still a fairly squishy support, and picking up an offlaner that packs a punch like the LC or even maybe the Timbersaw could work in their favor. However, the Bristleback is still in the pool, and I think KKL would benefit by picking it up here. Instead, they'll go with the Rubik for now and see if they choose to follow this up with a core, or if they're going to open up with their support duo. KKL. They have a good 1 minute and 55 seconds on the reserve clock here to take a decision. I'm still leaning towards a Bristleback pickup, but I don't think A5 would be too worried if it does come out here. They've still got a lot of wiggle room to counter that Bristleback if they need to, but for now it's going to be the Slaughter. It remains to be seen if this is going to be a 4-position roaming Slaughter or if it will be a 3-position off-lane Slaughter. However, the trend has been to run the roaming Slaughter of late, so I would expect them to run this as their support duo of the Rubik and Slaughter. A5, let's see what they choose to go with as their second pick. Perhaps they pick up a core here, knowing what the 2 supports are on the side of Kharghar Ke Ladke. Maybe pick up their offlaner right off the bat. Speaking of, could be the Batrider. You know that 835 likes to run the Batrider quite often. However, I do feel like the Rubik is a decent way to deal with him. Given that there's no cast point on the telekinesis, it's an instant disable that can be used for a blinking in lasso for a blinking lassoing Batrider. But instead, A5 goes for the Omni Knight. That again, it remains to be seen if this is going to be a 3 or a 4 position Omni Knight. I can't recall 835 ever playing the offlane Omni Knight, at least not in the recent past. So I'm probably going to say this is going to be a support Omni Knight coming out from them. But again, it's too soon to tell. It's just the first 2 picks on the board for either side. We still have a fair way to go before the draft concludes here. Ursa coming out as the ban from A5. Meanwhile, you've got the Invoker getting eliminated by KKL.
Reserve time.
Both sides thinking it through here. 1 minute and 40 on the cake. No real rush for them. It is game 1 of a best of 3, so getting the advantage in this first game could really put them in a comfortable situation and relieve some pressure of themselves. While there's no prize money for this particular qualifier, the stakes are really high because you essentially secure your slot at one of the most prestigious lands in the country, and You know, as someone that's seen a lot of Indian Dota lands and Indian esports lands in general, I have to say that last year, the Dew Arena 2016 was the one that I particularly enjoyed the most. For those of you that missed it, the event took place in a venue that is really a first for Indian esports, the Kingdom of Dreams in Gurgaon.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm quite excited to see what they have in store for 2017.
Reserve time.
Anyway, KKL, they will choose to ban out the Juggernaut for now. The Juggernaut and the Shadow Shaman, an age-old, tried and tested pushing duo. And one that has a lot of synergy in the laning phases. Unfortunately, A5 will not get their hands on it this game, which means that Paddling is going to have to settle for something like the Slark or the Life Sealer here. A5 leaving nothing to chance, choosing to ban out the Bristleback after. Yeah, I definitely think KKL still had room for. But at the same time, I think A5 could have picked it up too. However, that said, KKL does have the first pick here after the ban phase, so it's only sensible for A5 to ban it out. Anyway, KKL, it's about time that they start showing us their hands in terms of cores. I wonder what their first core is going to be here. I mean, if they are looking for a middle laner, they've still got plenty of options. The Templar Assassin for one. A synergy between the armor reduction from the Corrosive Haze and the Meld. Or if you want to play magic damage oriented, you could always Storm Spirit for that initiation potential. There is room for a Life Sealer on the KKL side as well. Infest Bomb with the Slara is a tempting option indeed. And when you pick up the Life Sealer in your safe lane, it really limits the number of offlaners that A5 can run that can actually hold their own in the lane versus a Sealer and a Slara. But yeah, the problem with picking up a one position right here is that you give away what the safe lane is in its entirety, and A5 can work to counter it. For now, they'll go with the Darkseer, so they're only going to show their off, assuming that it's a Shadow Shaman and an Omni Knight on the safe lane as the two supports for Aggressive 5. It's not a bad pick, while the Shadow Shaman does have a fair bit of control with the Hex and the Shackles. If the Darkseer manages to position himself well, he should really not die in that lane. But A5 are going to need something that can sustain in the lane versus that Ion Shell spam. Unless, you know, they want to do something wacky like run this as an off, pick up an Oracle on their safe lane as a support. Then the Darkseer is rendered effectively useless and does have to go into the jungle from level 1. But the problem with that is you then pick up two squishy supports and neither of the two are really good at making offensive rotations. Ooh, I like this from A5. They're going to go with something that's hot in the SEA meta with the Bloodseeker coming out here. We have seen a lot of mid Bloodseekers being run. It's a rare sight to see a safe lane Bloodseeker, at least in the Southeast Asia pub games. I'm curious to see what Aggressive 5 chooses to run with VS. There's also the fear of a repelled Bloodseeker coming charging in at you in the middle of a team fight, which is a really scary proposition. KKL though, going with the Phantom Lancer as their fourth pickup. It's not a bad choice actually, but I still feel like A5 has enough opportunities to pick up heroes that deal with him. The Ember Spirit is a hero that comes to mind here. And as far as off lanes go, I think it's fairly tempting to pick up the LC now that the PL is on the battlefield.
Reserve time.
36 seconds on the clock here. A5, what are they going to go with as their fourth pickup? We're looking for an offlaner and a safe lane pick from A5. My money's on an offlane Legion Commander and a safe lane. I was thinking Life Sealer, but I don't really see too much value in the Life Sealer versus the Phantom Lancer.
10 seconds.
I'd say Ember Spirit. Safe lane Ember Spirit and offlane.
5
LC. I think that's the way to go here for A5. Alternatively, you run this as a safe lane Bloodseeker while it's unconventional. Oh, never mind. They're going to go with the Earthshaker. Brain fart moment there. They're going to go with what I assume is now an off-lane Earthshaker. I mean, they could always run dual lanes here with the Omni Knight and the Earthshaker on the off lane and then Shadow Shaman +1 on the safe lane. Corp will be the ban, so KKL are assuming that this is not a mid Bloodseeker. Indeed, they are expecting this Bloodseeker to go to the safe lane. I also believe they've changed up their roles with Negi taking up the safe lane, and I think Paddling has moved to the mid, if I'm not mistaken.
5 seconds remaining.
But we'll find out soon enough who's playing what. A5, almost out of reserve time there. They choose to ban out the Luna as the final ban. And now they've got the final pick for themselves. So they're expecting this to be a mid Phantom Lancer, assuming that KKL was still looking for a safe lane in the form of that Luna.
10 seconds remaining.
Honestly, PL can be quite the best at the middle lane.
5 seconds remaining.
I do remember the Chinese teams picking him up as the straight-up hard counter for the Invoker in the early stages. But A5 goes for the Lina as they pick, so it will indeed be a safe lane Bloodseeker. And KKL read the draft correctly by banning out the Queen of Pain. It's a fairly well-rounded lineup, I have to say, but one that's on a clock here. A5 will need to end this game as early as they possibly can, while KKL, I think it is in their best interest to pick up a hero that can take the fight in the ultra late game phase, while offering some sort of creep clearing potential in the early to mid game phase. It'll be the Sven, so they're gonna go with a hero that does come online really quickly and has a lot of physical damage and damage resistance. But he is susceptible to control coming out from the Shadow Shaman, Earthshaker, and the Lina. And even once he gets his BKB, he's always got to worry about getting ruptured and still taking damage while trying to chase down targets. KKL doesn't have enough disable, in my opinion, to make use of that Sven, but if they can pull out a quick Blink Dagger on that Slaughter, we could see potential for some Blink Crushes into stun wombo combos coming out from the Sven and the Docks here. It's a difficult call here on who's going to take this game based purely on drafts, because both lineups have their own pros and cons. But I think it's safe to say that the early game lies in Aggressive 5's favor. The mid game lies in, well, it really depends on who gets the better start. And the late game phase, if it does reach the late game phase, I'd have to give the advantage over to KKL in that situation. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are tuning in, you're watching the Dew Arena 1. This is Aggressive 5 taking on KKL. KKL, also known as Kharghar ke Ladke, a team that I'm not completely familiar with, but A5, a name that's cropped up time and again. They have hit a bit of a slump, I have to admit, falling short of the ESL India Premiership LAN phase by losing out to JMD, and also not performing too well in some of the other games of late in the Masters as well. Aggressive going to be handling the Sven on the side of KKL. You've got Superstar playing the Darks here. It is going to be Rubik in the hands of Deep Breaths, or Deep Breathes, as he spelled it. Feitan's going to be handling the Phantom Lancer, and that puts Kuroko Tetsuya on the Slaughter. Meanwhile, on the other side, you've got Flair handling the Shadow Shaman. Negi's going to be playing the Bloodseeker. Kingslayer on the Earthshaker Tongo, which I believe is that Pasol? No, Pasol is Flair. Tongo's going to be handling the Lina. Redgo, that is 835, will be playing the Omni Knight. I believe Tongo is paddling. This is the classic Indian Dota pause where, I mean, you had like 10 to 15 minutes during the draft phase to go take a whiz, but all teams decide that, you know, once the draft is done, it's in our best interest to pause and make everyone wait and, you know, make some plans and strategies about who's going where. You can already see aggressive and putting down caution pings and circles and all that. There's a Sven starting off with a quelling blade as well as two. He is looking to farm. He's not looking to fight in the early game phase here. Earthshaker did start off with the boots, so they are running this as an off-lane on Earthshaker. That said, we could see them run this as a dual lane. But if Earthshaker picked up the boots, that means poor old Flair is going to have to buy everything. From the courier to the wards to... Well, he doesn't have money for any more sentry wards, so that's out of the window here. Slara, he started off with the boots of his own, so he doesn't have too much regeneration. I mean, he does have that one set of tangos. But, I don't know. Normally, I think you'd want to go with the double mango and then just try and get your boots off the bounty runes. Yeah, this is a little absurd here. Why? That's a really long toilet break, Sven. I mean, I get that it's early morning as per gamer time, with 12:30 noon being the time that most gamers actually wake up and come play Dota. But a little professionalism, guys. It isn't fun to keep your viewers and your fans waiting. Anyway, here we go. The game is going to get underway. Deep breaths. It's so awkward calling him Deep Breaths. My Englandski not good enough to handle his name. Just going to call him Deep Breaths. Keeping himself out towards the bottom side of the map here. Has that observer ward, but hasn't chosen to drop it just yet. As for the rest of the cavalry, they've smoked up and started making their move here. Lots of caution pings coming out towards where the Rubik is hanging. Actually going all the way around, and Kingslayer, his smoke is actually worn off, so he could be spotted here by Deep Breaths if the positioning is off the mark, but never mind that. No one's going to see each other right now. In fact, he's out here by himself. He doesn't have backup coming in from Tongo and Gored. Expecting an early rotation coming out from KKL. Got an observer ward placed down here to watch that Darks here. And yeah, I absolutely agree with this. This essential ward when you're playing versus the DS, who just tries to stand back and drop down the iron shells on the creep wave as far out as he possibly can. There's not a single sentry ward on this map, so everyone... Peaceful start, both sides picking up a bounty rune each and moving towards their respective lanes. Aggressive is going to be farming up on this Sven on the bottom lane while he's got backup in the form of Kuroku, Tetsuya and Deep Breaths here. We don't have a smoke on the side of the Dire or the Radiant for that matter. So again, we're not going to see too many rotations just yet, or at least not too many successful rotations, I have to say. Because given that wards are on the map and no smokes are available or sentry wards are available in any of these two, these rotations should almost always be spotted out. Peyton on the middle lane. He chose not to start with a full PMS, instead going for the Quelling Blade and a Salve. I mean, if Tongo's seen this, he's just going to try and get as many hits off on Peyton, get him to pop that early Salve, and then make a decision between calling for another Salve or finishing up his PMS. Peyton. Okay, looks like he's got some tangos being pulled to him now, so he's okay. Anyway, Kingslayer. Ring around the rosy here with Superstar. Just gonna hit each other in the back once. But there is the stout shield advantage going in favor of Superstar, so it's in his best interest to keep pummeling like this. But Kingslayer is okay. As long as he can get a couple of consumables 4-star from that Darkseer, I think he's okay making these trades because he's a support after all. And he's wasting precious time from this core Darkseer. Meanwhile at bottom, Red go. Hasn't put a point in the repel, instead going for a point in Degen Aura. Etsuya just walks into tower range and takes a hit there. That was not the plan, but he's gonna get the bounty rune because of that play, and Red go. Back in mid, Phaeton. He's looking okay on the CS charts. 11-1 versus 30. Lina. So it's not a complete decimation here on the middle lane. Phaeton is holding his own. He does have to last it under his tower, but that's where the Qualifier and the PMS will really help his case. Anyway, Earthshaker still doing what he can to piss off Superstar here. He has fallen behind in terms of EXP. I mean, he's just about to hit level 2. Well, on the bottom side, Go, what are you doing, man? Taking a lot of damage here. But remember, he does have a salve, he has a mango, he's got clarity as well. He popped the salve and the clarity, and now he's got enough HP to work with, while he does even have the purification to keep himself alive. Now this is a cheeky play coming out from him. He's pulled a creep wave entirely around here. That's going to give him a lot of free EXP. And it's already showing, he's at level 3, while that Darkseer has just crossed over to the level 2 mark, and he's out of mana consumable. Negi? Why is he spamming out the question marks? I thought he was just bad-mouthing for a second. I was wondering what the hell went wrong with him. 3 minutes in, no first blood. Both teams just playing really slow Dota here. Not making any unnecessarily aggressive plays here. However, Kingslayer, he's the one that's been wasting most of his time. I wouldn't call it a waste of essentially shut down this Darkseer, but he's really starved for EXP. But I guess that's okay given that he is an Earthshaker. All he's really got to do is drop that Fissure. A well-placed Fissure, possibly to try and get ganks off or to make some defensive plays for his allies. Tongo, and his paddling still doesn't have his bottle online though. He's struggling to keep that mana regen going well. Phaeton's... Tongo actually chose to go for the second Null Talisman first, relying on his superior damage to do some work. Anyway, there's that Fissure we were talking about, but unfortunately it was on the wrong side, so Phaeton will not use the mana to pop the Doppelganger. Still a couple of minutes to go before, or rather 1 minute to go before. Quite a bit. Once the Shrine's online, it means that the Slaughter can go hunting, can make some offensive plays and come back to regen with the Shrine. He can also, it also gives the middle laners a license to try and make some plays and expend their mana a little more freely. Phaeton, however, seems like he's being trigger happy anyway. While Tongo, he's now bottled up a DD rune as well. This is Phaeton walking on thin ice. He doesn't have mana for a Doppelganger. Fissure into a stun could be his death. Here we go. There's the stun. No Fissure really needed. They get the stun, then the Fissure. Followed up with the Dragon Slave and a few auto attacks from the DD. Tongo with the first blood. Bottom lane. The 35. Duking it out with Kuroko Tetsuya. Remember, he's got 2 points in that Degen Aura. Kuroko Tetsuya has taken quite a beating here. Aggressive. He doesn't really have enough mana for a stun, so he's just going to have to come in and duke it out with him. This Omni Knight is bullying the hell out of the Sven and the Slaughter here. This should not be happening. Anyway, back at mid again, Tongo just beating up on Phaeton as much as he can with a DD rune still active, but now he's out of mana. However, it's at the same time that the Shrines have come online, so he's just fine.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Darkseer, we took our eyes off him for a while now, but he has back up in terms of CS and net worth. However, his tower has taken quite the beating here. Nagy with the phase boots is in a very comfortable position to score the kill on the Darkseer. 6. Here comes a rotation from the Rubik. Does he really want to walk up the slope like this? Idea. Still just 1-0 in favor of Aggressive 5. They're not really forcing the issue here, but they are winning this early game stage with their middle and safe lanes out-farming those of their opponents. So it is in their best interest to keep going like this and not making any hasty plays. We're looking at a Midas Bloodseeker, so clearly Aggressive 5 has recognized that their late game is a little weak here, which is why they need to prepare in case their mid game goes wrong. We're looking at an attentive gank on this middle lane Earthshaker, who by the way is level 2 6 minutes in, which is why he's taken up position on this middle lane now. Unfortunate for him that there's a massive dire creep wave that's pushing up onto the slope, and Feitan is not letting it reach his tower, just controlling the creep equilibrium in a good position. But as I say that, top lane, they end up scoring a kill on Superstar, and soon it's going to be Kuroko down as well. No expenses spared. Flair will commit with the Aethershock and take the kill for himself. Meanwhile at the bottom lane, Rubik just leeching some EXP as well. Picks up a DP in case he's needed elsewhere. Seeker. He did commit the Rupture for that fight, but I mean, Rupture is one of those spells that allows you to fight. It's got a really low cooldown, not too much of a mana cost. One Clarity Potion and Negi is ready to fight all over again. And I mean, he really never needs to call out any HP regenerative items right now. Just the 1 point in the Blood Rage should be enough to keep him going in this lane. Meanwhile, bottom, go red, go. I mean, he's level 6 with 3 points in the Purification and Repel. I don't see how he dies here, but maybe he will. He's gonna go in here, has the Repel, doesn't pop it in. Stunned once, gets stunned twice. They have the lift and need to chain it perfectly, but Deep Breaths, what did he do? He just waited a tad bit too long. Goredgo got the Repel, got a Purification, the Blood Rite comes in as well, and it looks like Aggressive could be the one going down here. Salves up on the back line, the salve runs out, gets brought down by Negi, as Kuroko Tetsuya goes down next. Negi with the double, has the Rupture if he wants to go for the triple, commits it indeed, pops his phase boots and runs right at Deep Breaths. 1 punch, 2 punch, make it a triple. Negi walks away with blood on his hands. 6-0, Aggressive 5 is using that Omni Knight as bait on the bottom lane as they turn things around quickly and look to convert that into an objective. Meanwhile, the middle tier 1 has also gone. Second double damage rune that Tongo's picked up. Feitan has got to be careful here. If Tongo connects that LSA, he could be going down. There's the LSA. Kill. Tongo with the plays, using Fog of War to near perfection. 7-0, and suddenly Aggressive 5 has just charged through the gates, all guns blazing. They get themselves a bunch of kills and 2 tier 1 towers. This is that explosive mid game that we were expecting on the back of the early game start. Aggressive 5 just biding their time, getting their first few items, waiting for the opportune moment before striking, and then they strike hard. And this is with a Midas on their Bloodseeker, so that net worth is just going to get further and further away from the Radiant side if nothing is done here. Neji still looking to push through this bottom tier 2 tower, doing a little bit of Flair standing on the back here. This is almost an open challenge to come and fight them. Rupture dropped onto a Sven on the back lines. Is this a mistake? 4 heroes here coming out from the Radiant side. Actually, all 5 heroes here, not just 4 heroes on the side of the Radiant. They will get the kill on Goredgo. Negi, however, finishes the job on Superstar, runs away. Hex comes out, Kuroko Tetsuya walks in, and they will get the kill off on Negi. So that's a mega kill streak now ended by the Darks here, as Flare is going to go down next. But here comes the Lina, LSA, Dragon Slave will get the kill on one Slaughter, as well as the Darks here. And Aggressive drops down the stun and walks away. But well, it looks like that's still a skirmish that goes in favor of the Radiant, making it a 3-for-2 trade in their favor. And a trade from behind at that. Questionable moves coming out from Negi, diving that tier 2 tower with a rupture. And all of that was without the Phantom Lancer being in the... Continues to farm on this middle. But 835 is here to give him some sort of a contest. Kingslayer, meanwhile, he's now picked up his level 6, so the Echo Slam is available. He is going for what I assume is going to be a Blink Dagger right off the bat here. No Arcane Boots coming out on the side of... they've chosen to go Soul Rings on both their potential Arcane Boot carriers. I guess it's just... yeah, never mind. Got a bit of sustenance if they want to keep continuing with these pushes. But for now, they're going to go with the Serpent Wards deployed on this top lane, and that'll be the death of the last remaining tier 1 tower on the side of KKL. Deep breaths. They end up stealing away a level 4 purification. That is a handy tool. Meanwhile, Tongo has now completed his Bloodstone as well, so it's go time for them really. They want to make some plays. They're going to start off with the Smoke of Deceit from the north side. Alina makes her way in from the south. No TP available, but now they're just going to stop the Darks here from picking up that Invis Rune as Kingslayer gets it. Even a Rupture committed, as they will get the kill on that Darks here. Immediately we're seeing the rest of the crew in a headlong retreat from the Radiant side. And then Invis Earthshaker gives chase, stalking his prey. Phaeton has been spotted here. They get the Hex off. They've got the Fissure as well. Kind of goofed that up, but the silence of the Blood Rite comes in along with the Echo Slam commitment. They get the kill on the Phantom Lancer, and you know, after they screw up the first 2 disables, I think it's only fair that they throw everything at him to get that kill. Nina even walks away with an extra Bloodstone charge in her back. I think he's going for the Radiance here. Has the relic queued up. Not a terrible choice really in the face of the Phantom. The evasion also quite a useful tool in the Sven. It's going to be hitting away with reduced armor on enemy heroes. Anyway, the stun comes out. They have the Spirit Lance available as well. Negi, knowing that there's no disables, just TPs the hell on out of there. Good awareness, choosing not to stick around and try and outrun them. Stops that TP immediately, but here comes the backup. Aggressive 5, ready to take a fight here. The Serpent Wards coming back online now. Right, go. Starting with some purification damage on Tetsuya. It's gonna be the bait here. Trying to bait out some spells. Indeed, he does manage to bait out one. Lifted on the backline. Just not enough. Kingslayer walks in, Enchant Totem, Purification, Laguna Blade committed and Phaeton, Laguna Blade stolen away. The 2-man stun comes out, Flare's in trouble, goes down. The Guardian Angel's been popped, Deep Breaths can't really do anything in the face of that, despite having the Laguna throws it on Goredgo and gets at least 1 kill, but is now on the run, trying to get away from Kingslayer and Tongo. They will goof up with one of those spells, Tongo, but the LSA gonna miss as well. They will not get the kill, and Rubik will survive, holding on to the Laguna Blade for another fight. A 2-for-1 exchange in favor of KKL. The tower does stand, however. It is still a trade in favor of the Radiant. Aggressive 5, making quite the mess of that team fight. However, they did get the kill on the Sven, so I guess... And now you've got a relic picked up on Negi too. Man, this guy packs a real punch right now. Tongo. Looks like it's going to be the Shadow Blade coming out for him next here. Meanwhile, Kingslayer, who's Blink, just getting closer and closer here as they prowl through the enemy jungle looking for a pick-off. Flare and Kingslayer just hanging around next to Tongo here. But I think Tongo is just feeling secure here to push this tower down. The moment heroes start going low, Negi can come running at them with that bonus movement speed. But for now, they're just going to try and create space for him to farm in his jungle and finish up his Radiance. But clearly, KKL has other plans. They're going to smoke and move towards the enemy jungle here. But they're going to find nothing. In fact, Negi's right next to his shrine. So if the initiation does come, he can shrine up. There'll be TPs coming at his back. And they can turn it around. And with the Mass Serpent what's committed, they get the tier 2 tower. Negi continues to entirely in Aggressive 5's favor. I think they're okay with sacrificing this tier 1 on the top lane. Ketan's still got a way to go before he finishes up Diffusal Blade, and that does give a lot of breathing room over to Aggressive. Keep making aggressive plays like this. Kingslayer. That'll be his Blink Tiger for the next team fight as well. Especially with the Phantom Lancer. Negi going for the BKB as his next item of choice here. Well, Sven finally finishes up his Echo Saber. I still don't want to count out. I don't want to count out KKL here. While they are a good 10,000 net worth and EXP behind, there is still most of it is going to have to come on the back of a big crush into a vacuum wall. But how do you land those crushes without really having the vision advantage? But at least they've got the Blink Dagger on that Slara, which means they can try and make a play here. Also got the mech on the docks here, so a little more survival. KKL, but they're just losing building after building here. I think, you know, one way that A5 could really screw this up is if they try and push the high ground without Negi's BKB or without an Aegis in their back pockets. They could be caught off guard here with a good crush. I heard an Echo Slam. It's at the middle lane where they go on Aggressive. And once again, they will shut down the Sven. With the Sven dead for 20, Serpent Wards are going to be expended in the pit. They're going to get this Rosh quite comfortably. And there is nothing that KKL can do about it. 13 and 5, Aggressive 5. Are they just running away with this? Or will KKL put a stop to all of that at the high ground push? Aegis in Negi's pocket, and one tier 2 tower separating Aggressive onto the high ground. Ketan, with his Diffusal Blade finished up, needs to be the one to do some significant damage here, but a lot boils down to the way Kuroko Tetsuya is going to initiate here. Negi is taking quite a beating from those PL illusions. Sin gets healed up and comes right back to beat up on the tier 2. Bottom, we're seeing multiple TPs coming out here. Superstar, Iron Shell in the wrong direction. Superstar stunned up with an Enchant Totem and then a Fissure, but it's on the side. Doesn't really matter because Tongo's coming in. The LSA will connect. A Laguna committed. They get this kill without much contest. So a tier 2 converted into a kill on the docks here. Just really a cherry on top here for Aggressive 5. Kuroko Tetsuya Still to see those big blink plays being made from him. Deep breaths, goes for the kill on the ward, but that with his life. Can't even D-ward without fear of being brought down here by Aggressive 5. Every little misstep goes punished completely. A flare. He'll drop down the Serpent Wards, in fact straight onto Tetsuya's face. The Rupture has come out as well, onto the Slaughter. The Blood Rite has been dropped in his face as well. The Radiance damage is doing some, but Negi, he's gone, and meanwhile the Echo Slam was there behind. All the fusions back into the fray here. You've got the stun coming out. They've got the kill on Kuroko Tetsuya, but the Guardian Angel keeps him alive. The diffusion purges of Negi, but remember he still has the Aegis, as Aggressive will be the first one to go down. It's a double kill for Negi, who's still giving chase. The stun stops the Darkseer in his tracks, and Darkseer burns down to the Radiance, while Negi, once an Ultra, chooses not to go into the fountain, instead comes back to join his teammates in bringing down the first lane of Barracks on this bottom lane. Aggressive 5, they take a successful team fight and a set of objectives without suffering a single casualty, as they'll back off with the Aegis still in tow. Yep, they couldn't have asked for a better fight there. Getting kills on the cores on the side of KKL, getting a lane of Barracks and not even expending an Aegis for it. I mean, the Slaughter was trying hard there to find an initiation spot, but unfortunately for him, Shadow Shaman dropped a set of Serpent Pods right dab smack in the middle of his forehead. And that really threw a wrench into their plans. Good decision making coming out from Negi to rupture the Slaughter as well. He's really the only way for KKL to start the team fights. And if you've tagged him with the rupture, there's no way he can blink in on you without actually killing himself. Phaeton's actually going for the Aghanim Scepter. It remains to be seen if he's actually going to finish it by the time the next high push comes in. Those bouncing Spirit Lances would definitely help to slow down the pushes a little bit. But at this point, I think it's really about how they're going to hold this next high ground push. Aggressive 5. In fact, A5 is just going to slowly take down Shrines first with a fresh set of items. Speaking of, you've got the Lincolns on the Mina. In addition to that Shadow Blade, she's going for a Shiva's Guard of her own, while a Yules has now been finished up on Pinkman. And that Earthshaker, meanwhile, Negi is on a Blood Rite. Remember, he still has the Aegis to work with, so he's okay with making aggressive plays like this. As for Flare and Kingslayer, looking to make a play, blink forward, Fisher splitting the wickets, the Rupture is there, again tag. But she's not going anywhere. They will blow him up with a Laguna Blade commitment as well. Negi healed up again as the Serpent Wards have been dropped. They're gonna get another tier 3 tower without the Slaughter there to defend this. They're just finally timing out here on Negi. They've got the stuns coming out. Got the Blood Rite as well. He's silenced. The Echo Slam to kill on him, while Superstar tries to make a run for a deep reads, even pops down that's Shrine for himself. Tongo, LSA connects, bounds away on the Rubik again, but now they're just having fun and playing with their food. Negi in trouble, purged up, the Fisher thrown down by the Rubik, then the Fisher thrown down by the original Earthshaker. Will be the death of the Phantom Lancer. Good crush comes out, but it's a tad bit too late. The Guardian Angel keeps him alive through all of this. Heck, the Wards even timed out through this entire team fight, as the Barracks will finally fall. 4 down on the side of KKL, 2 lanes of Barracks against them. I think this is all she wrote for them in game 1. As if I look to close this out, Aggressive will call the GG. Game 1 is in the bag for A5. We're moving to game 2, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like Aggressive 5 might just be in a comfortable spot to take this grand final 2-0. Let's see if KKL can prove us wrong. Stay with me, folks, on CloudX. We'll be right back with the next game of the day. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome
Radiant team.
Grand Final. Winner of this particular matchup goes
Dire team.
to the LAN finale. It is a best of 3. We're at game 2. Game 1 is in favor of Aggressive 5. If KKL can take a game here, we should be moving to the third game of this series. If not, Aggressive 5 will confirm their slot at the LAN. For those of you wondering, I'm CloudX, and
Remaining.
I believe if I had to put my prediction on this, I'd say Aggressive 5 2-0 because they do seem to be a class apart here from KKL. Not to say that KKL are that far behind. They did show some signs of life in the mid-game phase, but A5, I mean, they bided their time, they got their early game going all right, and then they just came in with one massive haymaker in the bottom lane, somewhere around the 8-minute mark. And from there on out, it just turned into a complete snowball effect in their favor.
Radiant team
But KKL, they're taking a different approach here. They're going to open up with the Vengeful Spirit pick, as opposed to the Rubik that they took the last time around. And it's also worth noting that this time they have first pick on the board.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I'm wondering if, yeah, I was just going to say, I'm wondering if A5 is going
Radiant team pick.
to pick it up. Possibly going to be a slaughter pick coming out from them here. I mean, the last time around, we did see them pick up the Omni Knight as their second pick.
Seconds remaining.
So that is an opportunity. That is a possibility here as well. However, I think KKL are a little better prepared this time, with a Vengeful swap to go through the repel if absolutely necessary. My apologies, folks. Just had to tend with something here in the studio. But anyway, we saw them do this as well with Kingslayer, aka Pinkman, playing that Earthshaker in the previous game. Going to be running it once again this time around with KKL
5 seconds.
left, wondering whether they want to pick up their core here, or if they want to pick up their secondary support or their 5-position support here. I mean, the draft is still wide open here. Venge could still be their core, but I say that and they pick up a Lone Druid immediately on the side of KKL. Not a bad pick at all, I have to say. It looks like they're just pulling out all the stops and going to what their tried and tested lineup is here, now that they're on the ropes. This looks like something they're comfortable with. It could be a cheese lineup. It could even be, dare I say, a level 1 rush into a...
Dire team ban.
I'd love to see that happen, but I highly doubt it's going to take place here. Anyway, A5, they've kind of caught on. They know that this is a potential push. Choose to ban out the Jakiro. On KKL, they've done the standard thing and banned out the Invoker once again, which means that Paddling will not get his hands on Invoker. You got a fair bit of time on the reserve clock for both sides here, with the Warlock getting back aggressive 5. KKL, if they're still intent on pushing, I really wouldn't be surprised if they picked up a Pugna here. Not only is Pugna a great pushing hero, he's also really good versus the Shadow Shaman.
10 seconds
However,
remaining.
Pugna's such a situational pick. It's a super rare pick that we don't really get to see too much of, but in this particular lineup, if they are looking to push,
Reserve time.
it does make sense. Got an Ursa ban coming out from KKL. Not sure I saw this one coming. What's a good way to deal with the Lone Druid here? Maybe they pick up a Weaver? I mean, a Slock wouldn't be terrible either.
Seconds remaining.
Plenty of choices here for aggressive 5.
Remaining.
No real urgency to jump the gun. If they want, they could even go.
Reserve time.
Of course, Lina is still in the pool and is a viable option here. Adding that burst damage and extra control versus the Lone Druid and his bear is really a godsend.
Admiral Kunkka.
Alright, looks like someone's bought the Arcana here. Or the Kunkka Immortal, really. Gonna have a roaming support Kunkka, I assume. Possibly gonna be Kingslayer that plays it, which means that we are looking at an 8 offlane Earthshaker this game. I highly doubt we're seeing a core Kunkka here.
5 seconds
I feel like Kunkka's a hero that adds a lot more value as a around with a guaranteed disable from the X mark.
Reserve time.
KKL, do they want to go for a defensive support here? Or are they still going to play aggressive Dota and pick up something like the Disruptor? Now there's just so much control coming on the side of A5. You've got the Kunkka with the Torrent, X mark, the Ghost Ship, Earthshaker with all of his stuns, Shadow Shaman is just a walking set of disables. KKL are going to need BKB cores here. Or maybe even an Omnidan of their own. One minute, 10 seconds on the clock here. KKL thinking of their choices. They could go for the Rubik once again if they wanted to, but I think they're going to need something with a bit more early game impact than that. I like the Disruptor here. It does give them some firepower of their own, not to mention the silence versus heroes that like to kite around the periphery and pop regular disables. It's also some great pick-off potential with that glimpse coming into the picture. But if they're looking for something defensive for the Lone Druid, the Oracle, but what the holy hell is going on here? Now, I mean, why do I get the feeling that they're just picking what they want to play here? And this is that moment in the game where the captain says, hey bro, what do you want to play? I want to play Pudge. Okay, there you go, Pudge. Will you play safe lane Pudge? Will you play mid lane Pudge? Will you play off lane Pudge or support? That's fine, I'll play whatever. And I think that's a similar train of thought that's followed for the Venge and the Lone Druid as well. I'm just kidding. I hope to God they have a plan here because I'm not a fan of a Venge and a Pud support duo. They're both essentially 4-position supports that roam around the map. Neither of them is really good at babysitting the offlaner, or rather babysitting the safe laner. But I guess that's why you pick up a safe laner like the Lone Druid, and then you just send your Venge and the Pudge running around the map, looking for kills elsewhere. 50 seconds on the clock. A5, well, they've got a lot of control. They don't have as much firepower in their ranks. They'll go with the Luna, a hero with a fair bit of pushing potential. Something that synergizes with the Shadow Shaman and his Serpent Wards quite well. The last pick, it's going to be a mid for aggressive 5. And I think they're going to wait to see what KKL picks up first, given that A5 does have the last pick in this draft. I mean, if A5 is running this as a mid Pudge, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, if KKL is running this as a mid, straightforward for it. They could simply pick up something that destroys the Pudge, like the Queen of Pain, or, you know, possibly even an Ember Spirit. You know, Timbersaw mid wouldn't be terrible here. But KKL has gone for the Drow Ranger, so now we're looking at safe lane Drow, a support Venge, an off lane Lone Druid, and a TBD Pudge, depending on what the last pick is from KKL. A5, what did they ban here? Did they ban a secondary support, or did they ban out a mid here? What have they decided on where this Pudge is headed? Huh, they banned the Viper. Yeah, you know, this is a risky move because KKL is the one with the next pick, so they could quite conveniently just pick up the Templar Assassin for themselves and leave A5 scratching their heads with a lack of damage over time. I mean, they have the Torrent, which does hit as multiple instances of miniature damage, so that can get rid of refraction charges, but then they're probably going to have to pick up something like a mid-Venom and something wacky like this. Huh. Okay then. Did not see this coming. A last pick Arc Warden coming out from KKL. Casual. Last pick AW. This is something taken out of Liquid's playbook, I believe. I assume this is going to be a mid-Arc Warden. And suddenly the game plan here for A5 is shut down the Arc Warden before he gets his Midas. Last pick for A5. Looks like they're as confused as I was about. 7 seconds on the board. What are they going to go for? It will be the Queen of Pain. Alright, so Quap can essentially decimate that arc. I mean, it does put him on the back foot for the early stages of the game. But I think the storyline is very similar to the last game, where Aggressive 5 has the better early game. They have a potential lineup to finish the game in the mid-game stage itself. But if it goes to the late-game phase, I think KKL has the advantage once more. And there's also the fact that KKL's lineup can push really hard. So with every minor team fight that they win or every skirmish that they win, they can convert it into a quick objective in the form of those outer towers, thus augmenting their lead bit by bit. A5 cannot make unnecessarily risky plays this game and need to really be careful about how they tread. For those of you that are just tuning in, you're watching Qualifier number 1 Grand Finale. It's Aggressive 5 versus KKL ke Ladke. I'm CloudX, and this is game 2 of a best of 3 matchup. The winner of this particular series secures their slot at the Dew Arena LAN, where they compete among other top teams for a total prize pool of 20 lakh. That prize pool, however, is split across multiple games. I'll have to wait before we can give you official confirmation on who wins how much Dota 2. Anyway, let's start off with an introduction here. On the side of Aggressive 5, Shaman in the hands of Flare. Queen of Pain is going to be handled by Tongo. Konka is going to be played by Kingslayer, who's actually been spotted out here by Superstar already. Luna is going to be in the hands of Negi, and you've got the Shaker played by 835. Meanwhile, on the other side, Arc Warden is going to be played by Error. It is going to be Aggressive playing that Char Ranger. Venge is going to be played Perseverance, Pudge in the hands of Deep Breaths. That puts Lone Druid in the hands of Superstar. So Shaker's movement has really faked out that there's a potential observer ward on. In reality, he's dropped the ward closer to the tier 1 tower. We're already seeing a sentry ward being called out, and his fake has been successful. He's essentially got the supports to spend a little bit of extra money, for which they're going to get nothing in return. On the other side, looks like they're going to contest this. They have dropped down the Fisher. Comes in, they'll throw down the Torrent as well as the Shadow Strike. This going to get caught with the Shackles. He's going to end up going. An attempt to deny by Perseverance will go unrewarded there.
Wow!
As they end up getting a bunch of runes here and walk away with a kill in their pocket. Aggressive 5 already off to an explosive start. No sentry ward available on the Kunkka. He's actually started the Boots of Speed this game. Pudge hanging around in the middle lane with the Rot at the ready. Tongo just gonna stand back and try and leech EXP or get whatever he can up until he hits level 2 and gets the Blink online. Meanwhile, Error has started off with the Spark Wraith at level 1, but I don't think he's put down any of them just yet. Deep Breaths taking a beating here, gets hit with the Torrent. This is enough to score a kill. In fact, they're running in deep. Another Spark Wraith clips onto Tongo, but Deep Breaths will back away and eventually will have to pop that salve. This has given Arc Warden the little bit of wiggle room that he needs to get the point in flux as well. Well, Tongo, he's now hit level 2 himself. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Lone Druid just keeping Flare at bay with his bear. No Orb of Venom picked up on the bear just yet, however, so he is relying on just staying alive and last hitting in this lane to pull ahead. Meanwhile, on the top side, Goredko has himself a stout shield and the boots to work with. That first blood really did help him get extra money. Perseverance. He's got the draw range of precision aura to help do that extra bit of damage. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he put one early point into the Vengeance aura just to prevent his own DPS while trying to harass Goredko like this. Fisher gonna get used defensively there while Perseverance continues to chase, but he's chasing into the Earthshaker, which is a pretty bad idea. While I say that, on the bottom lane, they end up scoring a kill on the after all, running him down with Flare and the Shackles. They get that kill. Goredko. No points in the Enchant Totem, but he will force out a magic missile upon himself. Perseverance gonna get blocked out by the Fisher. He's on the side and will be Goredko helping him chase. Perseverance. He has the mango if he wants to pop a stun, but ends up just going down to the punch again. And this rotation from the Pudge is going to be unsuccessful as well. Goredko even picks up the bounty rune on his way back to the lane. Things really couldn't get worse on this top lane for them. Meanwhile, at mid, you've got Kingslayer coming in. He's level 2. Error. Not going to get tagged by the Torrent. Here comes the Pudge TPing in. They've actually jumped in there. Getting the hit off. The hook comes off. Tongo doesn't have a blink to blink back. Out here, the Spark Rate. Is it going to hit him? Looks like they're going to get the kill. The Pudge with the rotation making the play. Ends up scoring 2 kills here. One for himself and one split between the Arc Warden. His aggressive 5 have taken a beating. Back at mid, however, Tongo is here to try and finish the... He's okay now. He backs away under his tower. I believe he's trying to rush the Midas this game. Calling out Sal's clarities and holding on to the... Uh-oh, error. Is he going to turn this around here? He's done a lot of damage. Corp needs to get closer to a creep wave. Mitigate some of that damage, but yeah, she's okay now. She gets the solo kill and walks away. Meanwhile, in the jungle, the Torrent's gonna clip along with the X mark, which is available. They did have the Shackles to work. Lots of damage on the Super. X marks the spot, pulls him back, and slices him to bits. Kunkka with the kill. While Arc Warden comes into the fray, the Flux is there, but they're going to stick next to each other to mitigate that damage again. The Spark Wraith comes in. The Pudge enters the fray as well. Kingslayer just tries to man-fight his way through this. Another Spark Wraith chases on the Flare. While Kingslayer is going to go down, they'll get the hook as well. He's brought him back into the vicinity. While Flare, is he going to go down here? No, he TP's out to safety. Great plays coming out from the Pudge here, really helping his team make a lot of this situation. Meanwhile, on the top side, Goredko was in a bit of a pickle as well, as he manages to survive under his tower. This game, I have to say, it's a much better start coming up from KKL. That Draw Ranger, she's just been free farming on this top. Has a good 26 CS in the bank, as it is on top of the net worth charts. And this despite having that one first blood death added to her name. No smokes available, but Kingslayer and Flare are just gonna wrap around and drop some observers anyway. Watching this bounty rune for potential plays. X marks the spot is available. They will not tag Perseverance just yet. Finally they clip him, but here comes the Pudge once again, teeping into the fray. They're just gonna back away, not giving the Pudge an opportunity to make those plays under the tower again. Meanwhile at bottom, Negi has been left to his own devices to continue this lone druid. At mid, however, the Arc was and brought down. That will delay his boots of travels actually. He's going for the BOT first. Midas. Deep breaths. He'll walk in to try and get a little bit of EXP while his Arc Warden in lane again, but AW is back. The hook, oh, just short there from Tongo. But he does walk away with the regeneration rune now in his pocket. Top lane. Looks like they want to make something happen on this Jar Ranger. Correct, go. Just trying to last hit under his tower here. Gets those two valuable creeps, range creeps rather, with his enchant totem. Well, Kingslayer is going to go grab that free bounty rune for himself. Bottom, flare. Does he really want to commit to this? Apparently not. Once again, Pudge. He's in the right place at the right time, finds the hook, catches flare. He's going to get rooted up as well. That'll be his death. As he goes down fighting. Meanwhile at mid, Tongo. Just trying to be as efficient as he can with that regeneration. Jumped in here again, just keeping the regen rune going as long as he... Tempest double, Flux as well as the spark rates being expended. Tongo taking a hell of a beating here. Might just end up going down. He's got no blink for 2 seconds. Another spark rate hits him and he goes down. Oh man, just underestimating what the Arc Warden brings to the table there. Meanwhile, another root comes out of the bottom lane and it looks like Flare might be going down once more. He's running away from the Luna instead of towards. But he is running towards Kingslayer, who has that X mark available. He X'd the bear. Looks like they're going for the bear and not the hero. Negi has the Eclipse, gets hooked in, pops the Eclipse, does end up getting the kill on the Pudge and tries to make a run for it now. But Lone Druid just doing work here, pumping in the hits, does end up walking away. However, the spark rate has been dropped. It's going to go towards Kingslayer, not towards the Luna. So he will survive. KKL. Getting the better trades here, I have to say. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Earthshaker's in trouble himself. Drops a Fisher. He's gonna pop the Echo Slam, the Enchant Totem, and he goes down fighting. Gets himself a kill, but ends up going down to the Pudge. At mid, Arrow. Does not want to deal with the illusions here from the co-op. There's the solo kill coming out from the co-op again, and that does set back the BOT once again. In fact, he switched gears and is going towards the Midas once, but with 3 deaths to his name. It is going to be quite the delay on his Midas. As for the Lone Druid, his Midas is almost on. Gotta say, LD's had a decent game here. 2-2-0 in the offlane and a good 41 CS to his name. Here comes the Arc Warden looking for some ganks. Has the Flux available to start things off. Kingslayer immediately. The Spark Wraith tags him. Arrow with another kill. He's gonna get his Midas by farming heroes, not. Hex onto the Pudge. They want to go for this kill. They've got the Shackles coming out as well. The Crop jumps in. There's the TP coming out. Remember, the Pudge has a hook. If it fires, finds the mark along with the Magic Missile, the Spark Rate, and the Flux. They're gonna get the kill on the Crop as Arrow comes in once again and claims the money for that one. Tempest double popped. They're gonna try with another Spark Rate here inside the trees, looking for Flare, but won't quite find him. Time and time again, Aggressive 5 just over. It's 9-9, and hey, at least the net worth lead seems to be going in A5's favor for now. It really does look like they're putting a lot into Gorek here, giving him some space and time on this top lane to farm up his Blink Dagger, while Luna, she's actually being out-farmed by the off-lane Lone Druid this game. He even finished up his Midas. That said though, Negi did pick up the Mask of Madness, which does allow. But another fresh meat coming out. Looks like the top side is. The Red Go goes down, and Pudge gets himself another potential Flesh Heap stack once he picks up the skill point in it. Meanwhile, in the jungle, they've managed to gank the bear. He should get this kill on the bear at least, but not on the Lone Druid himself. We've also got an Arc Warden moving towards. All the pings are coming out on the top side. Looks like Aggressive and his boys just want to take down the team. We'll have to sacrifice the bear here on the Lone Druid. Yeah, it's gonna be Flare that claims the money for it. There's the power spike. With the Serpent Wards available, they can take down a tier 1 tower quickly. Well, Kingslayer is going to TP himself up top and 3 EXP. Well, trying to slow down this tower takedown. X marks to start things off. He even got a TP coming and he actually cancelled his TP. Or did he? Earthshaker has entered the fray as well. What? I would hope that's just to farm creeps and I hope he was. Either way, that's a step closer to his Blink Dagger. Anyway, lots of wards being placed down by the Dire. 3 fairly aggressive wards being placed here. No real vision for the Lone Druid, however. That means susceptible to being ganked. He's moving into the jungle here. Nagy gonna try and make a run for it. The bear, along with the hero himself, giving chase here. But Nagy's got the high ground advantage and they've got a haste onto the Queen of Pain. She's even got that veil available. There's the Scream. Decides to pound away on creeps instead. Superstar trying to TP out. They're gonna go for the bear instead while he TPs out in the vicinity. Another bear gets brought down. 300 gold goes over to Flare once again. And this time the bear's on cooldown. Kunkka even gets the deny on the tower there while Earthshaker's in trouble. Battling it out with a Tempest double under his shrine. He ends up dropping. Arrow gets the kill. And this is in addition to that already complete Midas on him. Pudge. Hoping that someone TP's in here so he can find a hook. And ready to watch for these movements. And no one's coming to defend this. Instead, they're just going to drop Serpent Wards and take another tier 1 tower. This time at the middle lane. Here come the TPs. It's far behind, however, Goredko. Still no Blink Dagger. What is the Kunkka doing? He actually just walked in himself there. Not expecting the ward vision to be spotting him out there. And it's another kill going in favor of KKL. Quap has decided to skip that altogether, just pushes through the middle lane a bit longer. Another kill going out. This time it's that goes down in a similar fashion. Comes out on the Goredko. No magic missile going to be committed for this. He's just going to beat up on him. As Arrow will get the kill. 3 kills in favor of KKL. And a tier 2 tower is going to go their way. While the tier 1 at bottom is going to be a freebie for the Lone Druid. This is decimation coming out from the boys on the Dire. Aggressive 5 are just buckling under the pressure of this. And really, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an awkward game 3. This game does get... At the rate that we're going, it clearly looks like we're headed there. The top 3 in the net worth in favor of the Dire. And the overall graphs have also shifted in favor. Gotta say, I'm impressed by KKL here. They've really pulled the wool over Aggressive 5's eyes, and man, this puck on point with his hook. Finding another one in the form of Flare. Fantastic stuff coming out from them. We spoke about how the early game advantage break building stage if they got the early start. That early start has not gone their way primarily because of this Pudge. He's been at the right place at the right time in most situations, and he's already got 8 assists with 3 kills to his name. 11 out of 15 kills that his teammates have had are because of this Pudge. And this essentially creates so much space here for this Lone Druid, who's well on his way to his Radiance, while Aqua... I mean, the split push potential coming out from the Aqua is going to be absolutely insane once the Arc Warden gets his Boots of Travels. And really at that point, A5 has no choice but to just take a man fight in their face and hope that they manage to get at least a couple of core kills For now though, they'll commit the Serpent Wards again and take down the tier 1 in the top lane, but it's gonna possibly come at the cost of their own tier 1 at mid and a free farming lone druid at the bottom. No real way to contest this, or do they have one? Nope. Just gonna fortify and TP towards their tier 2. Look at the Pudge though. Again, just playing it so aggressively, fires the hook but doesn't find anyone. And there's really nothing that Flare can do by himself here. Meanwhile, bottom, Goredgo, ready with the blink, fires the Fisher, gets the enchant totem, gets the hit off as well. Does not quite want to pop the Echo Slam. Tongo does manage to get that Shadow Strike off. Negi's in the fray. They're going for the hook. The hook will miss this time around. Eclipse is going to get committed. They will get the bear. The Echo Slam is there as well. And the Sonic Wave clips them from behind. Tongo with a double kill. The Pudge and the Lone Druid are down for the count while Perseverance and Error are trying to fight their way through this. Negi hits the deck. The Luna is down, but the Torrent is good. Along with the Ghost Ship, they get to kill Perseverance while Error is on the run. Flare and Kingslayer trying to man fight through this, but the core Drow Ranger just stands through it. It's a double kill for Error, who's on a wicked 6 streak. A Quap without mana is a useless Quap and can't enter the fray. Another team fight that I have to say goes in favor of KKL. They get the tier 2 tower, they kill the Luna, and they walk away with the Arc Warden still alive. And there it is. The Boots of Travels are online, a level 2 temp. The Midas is up as well. It does not get any better than this. Warden, just doing Arc Warden things again, pushing out as much as he can, harassing enemy heroes. Yeah, at least they're gonna get some money off of that Tempest double this time around, and EXP. Superstar almost has that Radiance finished up. The Relic has been picked already. Luna with the Dragonlance, Mask of Madness. Test for any. She's gonna need a BKB soon, but it looks like it's gonna be the Manta style first. And let's not forget a Hurricane Pike Drow Ranger just been standing on the back lines and decimating anyone that comes in her way. Another Tempest double. Just apply some pressure on this bottom side of the map while top. It looks like A5 are grouping up for a Smoke of Deceit here. Will look to make a play. This hasn't been scouted out, however. The caution pings are there. Superstar. He could be going down here. If he drops here, this could be a big kill for Aggressive 5. That's just as he's about to get his Radiance. He's trying to get out of it. He's actually going in deep. The X-Mark catches him with his pants down. The Torrent is there as well. The Ghost Ship comes through. Everything hits him smack in the middle of his face, and he goes down before he can get closer to his Radiance. Yep, a big kill indeed coming out for Aggressive 5. And this really is the best way for them to claw themselves back into this game. That does not address the problem of this free 10,800 net. With the Maelstrom and Double Midas kicking in, he's going to Mjolnir. His job is just to stay the hell away from these team fights. And if someone gets close, drop a magnetic field above his head and continue man fighting. Here comes the Pudge. They have the X mark if they want to try and take this fight, but it's too close to the shrines as the TPs have come out. Goredgo. We already saw him doing work with that blink tag at the last. Can he put on a repeat performance here? Is the key question on everyone's mind. Pings onto the Tempest double on top. Rao still just continuing to farm up, making her way towards her own man. More important than the draw actually dishing out damage, her need to pick up agility this game, because that's what essentially augments the damage output from this Arc Warden, courtesy the Precision Aura. And of course the Lone Root to a certain extent. But they've taken some time off to go farming, and again aggressive as they pop a smoke and start making their way into the jungle. But it seems that this time they're not going to be able to do anything about the Lone Druid getting his Radiance. He's farming on the extreme other side of the map and he's almost got it. But here comes the smoke. They're going to spot out Perseverance, the worst possible target to find with the smoke. But they're going to see more. There's the torrent along with the hook being thrown down, but all they really got was a Venge on the back of the smoke rotation. Absolutely not worth it for Aggressive 5 as they committed all of the heroes, I believe. All except for the Luna at least. The problem is, even if you kill one of these 3 cores, the other 2 are just farming so fast that it may not even be worth it to pop a smoke, move a map, get 1 kill and then run away. You need to get an objective after it to make it worth it. You really can't, because this lineup is just built to fight right now on the side of KKL. I mean, look at this. Arrow can keep the bottom lane pushed out without even being, with no threat to his life whatsoever. Superstar doesn't need to be in this area either. He's got the Radiance on the back and just standard out farming, but now they're going to spot him out. The hook, not going to find his ally. But that was the 3rd smoke that was popped, and this time it was an absolutely unsuccessful one, with no kills whatsoever going in their favor. Aggressive 5, I believe they are out of smokes though. Yeah, no smokes on any of their heroes right now on the side of the Radiant, which means by the Dire. You do have the Mantisal and the Luna. She's keeping pace in terms of farm. Pain for that. Who's almost got the Aghanims in addition to the... And it looks like we're going to see a smoke coming out from the Dire now. They're going to play of their own. Smoking all the way from their tier 2 on the top side in towards the middle lane. But they might just find a stray Earthshaker who's moved out towards mid. Uh-oh. He's blinked back into the wrong direction. Here comes the Cav. Into them. Man down. That's a core taken out with a smoke rotation. And without the Earthshaker for the defense, we could see the pushes coming in. However, A5 immediately starts to push out 2 lanes of their own. Are they really going to try to do high ground here? I mean, the Earthshaker does have a buyback. He could jump in at a moment's notice here if they're not careful. Yeah, he's probably going to have to buy back here. There's no way they defend this without his Echo Slam. Maybe they do with the Serpent Wards. Oh, gonna find the Luna! No buyback from the Earthshaker. Luna is just gonna end up going down seconds without him. And Flare is on the... Yeah, he's dead as well. This should be a tier 3 taken quite comfortably. Aggressive 5 just goofed that one up terribly. Casual Sonic Wave thrown out. It is an Aghanim Sonic Wave. Head back towards his shrine as well. The X mark coming out. It was on the bear. It was just torrent along with it, but the range barracks, the melee barracks, both being brought down with the Tempest double. And the Echo Slam! What the hell was that? That's what we call a selfie. Courtesy Earthshaker. That's it, I think. Aggressive 5 are just gonna lose everything in their base because of that. They have no Echo Slam, no Earthshaker, no Luna, and we're going to a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. KKL have cheesed Aggressive 5 and beaten the hell out of them here. As game 2 will be in the bag for them. Tongo, however, doing what he can to try and take this game as long as... keep this game going for as long as he possibly can. Buyback from the ES. There's the Dismember onto the Quap. Not enough damage, however. Error is actually taking a beating. He's actually gone down. Double kill for the Quap. Are they actually turning this around? Might I have just called this game too soon? Tongo with the triple. And it seems that I jumped the gun. This game isn't quite over just yet. I have no clue what's going on anymore, ladies. The throws are real from both sides. One with the selfie echo slam, two with the overextension for a freaking range barracks. And where was the lone druid through this all? Looks like his bear was brought down. The graphs still 10k in favor of KKL, with about 1000 EXP going in their favor. And they're back from the dead. Aggressive fight. They have a 13-second window to take this Roshan. To defend when the push comes once more upon their heart. They need. I believe they're gonna need a BKB on Negi. The problem is he's not gonna be hitting hard enough once he gets. Comes the cavalry though. Everyone is respawned. The X, the torrent, the ghost ship, everything thrown onto a bench just to try and buy time. Roshan's still not gone down, and it's a slow and painful takedown. The hook is gonna miss. The Aegis is snatched by Negi. He does have the Eclipse. He has the Aegis to work with. He's gonna wait for life number 1 to go down. The lone druid gets swapped out of safety. Doesn't quite die just yet. The hook with Dismember on the backside, keeping the Queen of Pain at bay, who blinks back out. Negi with the Eclipse. The Echo Slam from Gorento. They've got the kills. They've got the double kill coming out. They've got the Fisher hold and Arrow. And Arrow goes down next. Oh man, KKL. They just counter through themselves. That Rosh commitment, a tad bit too late and a tad bit too haywire. Negi gets more money in the bank. The barracks will still survive on the bottom side of the map. The Aegis was taken by Negi. It's been expended for now. But again, a major gold swing goes back. The cheese is melting, is fermenting here. On the side of KKL. Where was the bear again though? Are they just focusing the bear and bringing it down in these fights? If that's what they're doing here, it's rendering the lone druid. J2. Looks like it's gonna go in favor of Negi here. But they don't have enough to go high ground just yet. So pressure what they can, TP back home to defend and continue farming. 60 seconds till the Echo Slam is back on. Let's have a look at what the Luna is going for next. She spent her money on a BKB, so more survivability, more opportunities to stay alive and pop the Eclipse. Meanwhile, we're going to see a smoke popped here by KKL again. But it's possibly not the best moment to pop that smoke. I mean, the better play would be to just wait for the draw range. Not too far off. And considering that she spent her money on 2 of those components, she's not saving for the buyback, this could be a risky play. But these moves have been spotted, or rather at least anticipated. No one's going to get caught out by this smoke just yet. Just Lunar Illusions at the middle lane, keeping the creep wave. But they're actually walking in here. There's the hook. Doesn't quite find anyone. Well, the Quap knows that she can now continue to push out a little longer. Aggressive 5, just buying time, creating space, keeping the lanes pushed out. However, they're gonna have to sacrifice their shrine number 1 for Dire scan. Just barely missing on Tongo there. Just looking for this pick off on Deep Breaths, but I don't think he can do this by himself. I don't know what the Quap is going for next with 4.5. I assume it's a Scythe of Vice for additional control on the Draw Ranger as well as Deep Breaths. Almost as an Aghanim Scepter finished up on that part. Reduced cooldown on the hook. I believe the lifesteal from this member? Have I? It's been a while since I've played Fudge actually, yeah. There is the lifestealer component that came with the Aghanim Scepter, if I'm not mistaken. No, the lifesteal is actually a normal thing. It's been 10 years since I played Pudge, guys. Surprising considering Pudge is the most picked hero in Dota in pub games. By the way, looking back at the Luna, she's heading towards the butterfly next. And this could come at a really good timing considering of KKL. Let's have a look at the Lone Druid and his pair. It's just the Radiance for now. He's going for the BKB next. Aggressive 5. Do they have smokes at their disposal right now? Looks like they don't have any on their person right now. They're gonna have to wait till they come back online before they can move out of there. They are playing versus the lane of Mega and a range barracks that's sitting on 20 HP. I'm actually a little confused as to why the Tempest Double hasn't just made its way there. Some taking out that range barracks. It's just one hit, regardless of backdoor regen. Tongo TPs himself out after keeping the lane pushed out on the top lane a little longer. But it looks like it is going to be the Shivers God first, not the side of the armor and the AoE slow and control. How about Flare? What's he spent his money on? It's a Glimmer Cape for now. Well, Goredgo's actually been given farm priority. Did I say Goredgo? I mean the Kunkka. He's got himself a mech as well as almost complete Crimson Guard now. Yeah, good itemization coming out from A5. Getting a lot to tank up versus 3 cores on the side of KKL, and once they can survive through the initial onslaught, if the Luna can pop a BKB and start with the Eclipse in the fray, that's really going to be devastating. They already have the control with the Earthshake Shadow Shaman. It's really just about staying alive through the damage output of the Dire, long enough for the Luna and the Cop to do their pick. Anyway, looks like they're playing a bit more aggressive now, looking for this pick off on the Arc Warden if he sticks around here. He did send his Tempest Double elsewhere towards the bottom side of the map. On the top lane, aggressive. He's the bait here. No scan available here on the Radiant side. Not being used from the Radiant side to scout out heroes behind. Gonna fizzle out that engagement, move towards the bottom lane and keep pushing instead. Well, the Crimson Guard is now complete. Aggressive. Or rather KKL, they're going to pop their smoke now. And they might just walk straight into this Queen of Pain, but she's going to stay up on the high ground. Oh, this should be a dead giveaway that the smoke is. No heroes around. The Radiance Burn should be spotted as well. He didn't spot this out. Instead, Kingslayer walks in, but from behind, you've got the moves coming in. The Queen with the Yules keeping herself alive. She's in the middle of the frame. Doesn't have the blink. The Fear kicks in. They do get the hit as well as the Dismember, as they'll get themselves 2 kills. No Kunkka for this team fight. The Quap can buy back and might just have to. Negi. Oh, this is a bittersweet moment for him because he doesn't have money for the buy. Just can't there to buy that Eagle song. I have to make a play. Gorenko, what the heck was that? The Echo Slam kicks in, the BKBs are there, but then no Eclipse because of the silence that kicks in with that Mask of Madness. Tongo with the double hit, brought down the Drow as well as Perseverance. Meanwhile, behind, Deep Threats gets controlled by the Shadow Shaman. They get the kill on him as well. 3 down on the side of them, with Error being the survivor who ends up dropping next. Aggressive 5 will take the victory in that skirmish and are now just drawing lines to push out the waves. Buyback from the Queen was well worth it. as she scored 2 crucial kills on the back of that. And now they could even take Roshan once again, this time with less fear of being brought down. Yep, Rosh has been scouted and pings are going towards Rosh. Maybe they... that seems like a risky thing to do. Instead, they're just going to leave Tongo at the middle lane to do some chip damage. Another breath of fresh air comes out here. Aggressive 5 as they've also got the butterfly finished up on the Luna. She assembled that Mask of Madness. And that's just the Morbid Mask for now. I assume that she's the one that's going to hold on to the A. Now it's going to be Tongo that keeps the Aegis while Negi keeps it. This really looked like it was over at the minute mark. After this lane of barracks, they should have gotten this lane of barracks, but something went horribly wrong for them. Aggressive 5 just manned up and took a fight on the back of that Earthshaker respawning, and well, it's just been all downhill for KK. But you've almost got an MKB finished up on Arrow. That should give them the firepower to deal with that Luna in the team fights. Lone Druid. His BKB is complete on the Spirit Bear. Well, we're looking at a Sanjay Yasha pick coming out for this Draw Ranger. It's a tad too late for an SNY in my opinion. In fact, she might just consider switching it up and not going for... Instead, perhaps picking up a Butterfly of her own or an MKB perhaps. Anyway, this looks like it could be go time for them. Split push at bay. Control it with perhaps BOTs on one of their cores. They could consider pushing down another lane. But it looks like it's smoke time. Here we go. Go Red, go. Under cover of the smoke, courtesy flare, as Tongo will be the one to lead the charge through the middle lane. Up towards the top is where they're going. Looking for a pick off on one of the cores. They might just find the Draw Ranger, but she's got a TP and should be able to bail from this. I see the bear, and it might not be a terrible idea to just go for the... Considering that everyone on the side of the Dire is playing it safe, and the Tempest double has given momentum to the bottom lane. Yep, Luna, she's bailed on this push, or rather on this gank, and instead goes to work on that bottom lane. KKL will dodge a bullet. Gonna do a quick item check to see who's picked up on the side of the Dire. Draw Ranger still holding on to the money, not sure what he's gonna go for. Bench, just the Glimmer Cape, building towards a 4-star. Pudge meanwhile going for the Blade Mail next. That's a 3.3k HP Pudge. This is ridiculous. The Blade Mail is gonna give him an extra bit of armor. Hard nut to crack. While Lone Druid, well, no point looking at the hero himself. The bear still sitting with the BKB, and now a hype as he makes his way towards an Assault Cuirass. As for the Radiant, no real item progression on Flare. Queen of Pain. Going for the Maelstrom next to synergize with the Life Seal talent, I assume. Kingslayer. Oh, he's got that Crimson Guard and is going for the Solar Crest. Shaker with the Ghost Scepter, Luna with the Butterfly, almost has her MKB finished up as well. In fact, she has. She's holding on to the gold for the buyback. The Demon Head sitting in a backpack and Javelin sitting in a stash. That should render the magnetic field rather useless. That Tempest double. It's going to get no free hits here. Control with the Hex coming out. Both teams, however, they've dialed it down a notch. Clearly evident that neither side wants to play just yet. But I do feel like they're blowing this Aegis on the side of Aggressive 5. It hasn't been put to the best possible use, and it isn't in the best interest of the Dire to just wait for it to time out. But this has given Negi the chance to pick up his MKB. And he should have money for the buyback as well. Just ignoring that Tempest double in the middle lane. The fear of a jump in coming in from behind. As the split push continues. They do have a smoke on the side of the Dire. They're choosing not to make a play just yet. However, they do seem to be grouped. Invis picked up by Goredgo. He's already got a Shadow Blade to work. Not that much of a value add. Well, the haste gets popped by the Pudge. Got a Sanjay finished up in addition to that. She did indeed go for the SNY after all. I guess the extra mobility doesn't hurt. I think this game is only going to end when one side actually decides to push. Because for now, both teams are staying on their side of the river. With Goredgo just waiting out on the cover of an Invis rune. Oh, this is what we're going to be doing now, is it? Negi going to get X to get the creep wave and then pulled back. This game is never ending, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that are trying to tune in for CS, I think you should probably wait another day for this game. I can imagine the pressure that the Dire are under. After being so close to finishing this game, they're now on the back foot in game 2 and are one misstep rather away from being knocked out of the Dew Arena. Meanwhile, we're now hitting that level 25 mark. A couple of heroes for now. It is just the Queen of Pain that's hit there. The 60% life steal, the 60% spell life steal rather kicking in. It's Aggressive 5. They finally found an opportunity where their lanes aren't too far pushed out that they can take a tier 2 tower. So they're going to get an objective at the very least, thus opening up another lane of barracks. Meanwhile, Pudge just continues to fish with the hooks. Warden comes in. Why is there a Hex? Okay, so that's a side device now finished up on the arm. Could very well mean the death of any one of the supports if they're caught by themselves. This is getting extremely dangerous for Aggressive 5, and Tongo might consider just going for the BKB instead of that Maelstrom. It's also the time when Kingslayer should consider a Lotus Orb instead of that Solar Crust that he was thinking of earlier. Flare. I wonder if they're going to give him breathing room to actually pick up the Scepter this game. I mean, he chose to go for the cast range talent as opposed to the EXP gain. In hindsight, I think the EXP gain might have... It'd probably been at level 20 by now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And would have had that secondary talent kicking in.
Radiant's bottom barracks.
Separate walls are available. Looks like the bottom barracks are going to be... It did end up bringing down one barracks. In fact, Kunkas and ice kicks in. Kingslayer actually going to end up dying to the Tempest double. Oh man, that's a disaster coming out here. A lane of barracks, a free kill coming out. Serpent was expended for a mere tier 2. And once again, a minor victory goes in favor of... Warden is getting close to that level 25 mark himself with spell life steal for himself. Like Mjolnir. Gonna work wonders. Not to mention the flux if he catches a hero isolated. There we go. With a 20-second window, they're gonna try and push through this bottom lane to take down this melee barrack. The push is finally coming here, but it's with a Tempest double, not with a real Arc One. Red go. The Shadow Blade wants to go in here, doesn't see an opportunity. Oh no! There's the BKB, popped by Aggressive, the fish has been dropped, Eclipse has been committed as well, the double BKBs have been activated, and Nagy, he's been swapped further behind, he's doing nothing here, ends up getting brought down, 98 seconds without him, the kill is there on the Gorenko as well, while the boat comes in and gets a double kill for Kingslayer, both the Drow Ranger as well as the Pudge with the deck, and it looks like it's going to be another laner barracks in favor of KKL. It's that side of Vice, guys. It's adding so much value here for the Dark Warden. Now Aggressive 5 are playing with 2 lanes of barracks down. So Satanic is on the cards here for that Luna. They had just low lockdown. That was a real... just onto a single target. They're gonna need a lot more from their Earthshaker if they... the one they just attempted. $31,000 net worth on this Arc. He's got 6,000 gold in the bank, and he's still got a Midas that he can get rid of to pick up one more crucial item. Error. Moving in through the middle lane, doing some chip damage on the Flare, comes in with a Hex. It's going to be the Bloodthorn. He's picked up the Orchid now, and with the Orchid as well as the Hex, he's got so much control for the Queen who's got no BKB. Tongo, I think it's time he gets rid of the Veil and gets him. Another smoke has been popped, and if they can find a pick off. There's buybacks on pretty much everyone in this game except for the Pudge though. There's another counter smoke coming out here. They've spotted the Pudge gets the hook. The Yules is there as well, the Crimson Guard has been popped, Tempest doubles drop, Blade Veil's expended, Arrow jumps forward, gets the Hex off, Shackle comes out of control, just a Tempest double the pop, Nagy hooked in, dismembered through the beak. He goes down, Arrow gets the kill, the Echo Slam unloaded behind, gets one. Well as the Venge that has now gone down, Aggressive is on the run, Tongo is man fighting inside of the military field, the Hex is there, the Shackles as well, they'll get the kill on the Arc Warden now, as Tongo runs forward and clips Aggressive, it's a double kill for him. Aggressive 5, they've taken the victory in that team fight, but Pudge on the get the kill on the Kunkka as he tries to bail on out of here. He's got no BKB, he's got no TP, he's been caught with his pants down, but he's creating space, preventing Aggressive 5 from taking an objective just yet. He turns, he hooks, he fights, he kills off Flare. Oh man, he's done a lot of work even in his dying moments here. Preventing the push from coming in onto the high ground, instead forcing Negi and Tonga to go in and take Rosh. There's buybacks available on every single hit. They're not going to expend it for Roshan. Going to give up the Aegis and the cheese instead. I believe Tongo is going to have to drop that Veil finally and pick up Aegis or the cheese. Alright, never mind. I think he's going to hold on to both. That was a buyback committed by Negi, by the way. Meanwhile, Tongo. Looks like he's going for the refresher orb and not for the BKB. They're really relying on him being the one-punch man of this team. Firing off 2 massive sonic waves. That will pierce spell immunity, rendering those BKBs effectively useless. Nope, never mind. He switches gears again and goes for the option. What happens though if he's hexed? How do you prevent him from dying if he's hexed and focused by the Arc Warden? Guess you're gonna have to rely on Flare, who's gonna finish up that Lotus Orb soon enough. "51 minutes in, and we still have no clear victor just." It's 2 lanes of barracks up against Aggressive 5, but they're walking around with a brand spanking new set of shiny items, including a potential Satanic on the Luna. Uh-oh, there's the Hex, but the Glimmer Cape was there in time. It's just gonna be enough to keep him alive. As Flare turns around with a Hex of his own. Kingslayer, he's actually gone for some damage here of his own with the Daedalus instead of building utility items. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with this. I mean, I'd have liked to see a Lotus Orb. Maybe even a 4-star for the mobility for his teammates. This Daedalus just seems like... it's sticking out like a sore thumb, really. Also surprised there's no gem on the battlefield, just deward the map. Meanwhile, Luna with the illusions continue. Oh, sorry, the middle and the top lane, while bottom lane continue to chain here. Someone is gonna have to deal with this massive creep wave that's piling up here. It's only gonna get worse with Error TPing in to augment the push and keep it going, but it looks like Negi and Co are... I believe they're gonna have to go for the tier 4s directly if they do take a successful fight here, because there will be buybacks coming out on the side of Dire, and if they, even if it is mega creeps, they should be able to get the... Wow, what the hell? They got the... His Eclipse, his BKB, all completely wasted as the Aegis has been triggered. The Serpent Wards have been dropped. Negi's out of position here. Needs to be saved by his allies, but he's just going to run towards the south side instead. The hook pulls him further back into the fray. Goretko wants to jump in, but just can't find the right opportunity. The Fissure is there again, but what's it really going to do? That's 120 seconds without the Luna. It's a dieback on her. And again, Pudge, the MVP of that fight, pulling him deeper and deeper in, ensuring that the Luna has no way to retreat. Top 3, tier 3, however, will end up going down to this Queen of Pain, but really, what is the game plan here? How are they going to... Source of physical DPS. I guess this is when that Daedalus is really going to shine for Kingslayer. 89 seconds, no Luna. You can see the bloodlust coming in there. KKL are just barreling down the middle lane, looking to finish this game. It's the TP from the Arc Ward, and Perseverance gonna be... Glimmer Cape is there, Sonic Wave expended, they will get that 1 kill, but behind they've got the hook coming out onto... Slam has been unloaded, it's just slowing down the Lone Druid. They've got the stuns coming out, but Arc Ward just continues to build up the pain. There's the death on Goretko. He buys back immediately. The death in the top. She's bought back as well. The Kunkka comes into the fray, but the barracks are dropping. The hook is there. It'll pull back Flare further behind. It's mega creeps in favor of KKL. And this time it looks like it could really be over, but I've said that. Again, it's 4 down on the side of KKL with Draw Ranger being controlled. The shrines are popped again. It's a 5-man wipe. But has the damage already been done, because Aggressive 5 are now facing off against Mega Creeps. But you know, they do have enough to deal with Mega Creeps here. Mjolnir on the Queen of Pain and Glaives with that Luna. KKL, still 5 buybacks available, while Aggressive 5, I think they have none. Yep, no buybacks available on them. I mean, they're gonna have to force out these buybacks. Moving through the middle lane. Negi's pretty much capped out. The only thing he can really add to shot, which honestly is just a luxury item at this point. If they aren't able to get the kills without that one little moonshot, it's very unlikely that the moonshot's gonna make that much of a difference. They need to find some way to keep Negi alive. The lack of 4-stars is really starting to hurt them here though, because that punch just pulls them deep inside enemy lines. But it looks like they're just gonna go for the jugular here. Getting in, doing some damage on those towers. Arrow with the Hex, they're gonna get kill on Tempest double for now, while Tongo, he's jumped in with his BKB, he's gone onto the kill onto the Eclipse committed. What is going on here? They've gone for the tier 4s. The Serpent Wards have been dropped. Perseverance is gonna stay alive through this all. The Fortification has been dropped down as well. They're just not going for the barracks, going for the tier 4s instead. Perseverance brought back. Gorenko with the kill on the bench. He has the buyback available, but it looks like it's not enough. They need to get the hell on out of here. Redgo, buying time, consumes the cheese, pops the Lotus Orb, has the Ghost Scepter, doing what he can to get the hell out of here. X is there. X is back onto the Arc Warden. He's buying time and creating space, but it's still 120 seconds without the Earthshaker. Venge is just gonna buy back and blinks on out of there. Does not want to stick around, but he might just get Hex here. The Hex is there, and Magnetic Field as well. He's taking a beating. Can they bring down this double in time? No, they can't. That was a Bloodthorn kill onto Tongo. Now that's 120 seconds without the Queen, 90 seconds without the Earthshaker, and 37 seconds without the Shadow Shaman. This is it. I really don't see how a Kunkka as well as that one Negi, what do you call it, Luna are actually going to defend this. It's the Ghost Ship coming out. I've gotten a fair bit of damage done. Even Pudge just walks forward and tier 4s are dropping like flies here. No BKB. Well, they have a BKB on Negi, but what can he really do here? There's the GG coming. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into a very late game 3 here. Stay with us, folks. We're coming back shortly. KKL really just pulling the rabbit out of the hat here. Making some amazing plays with that Arc Warden pick and the Pudge and the Lone Druid as well. Aggressive 5 taking a beating. We'll be right back. Yeah, you can start ASAP. Welcome back, everybody. It's game 3. Something, well, a phenomenon that I did not expect to happen here, to be very honest. But KKL, man, have they proved me wrong and how. Huge props to them for pulling out an absurd victory with that Arc Warden and Lone Druid pickup in game 2. Aggressive 5, feeling confident enough to not ban it out again. Instead, picking up the Silencer as their first pick after banning the Underlord and the Clockwork. Same old bans coming out from KKL though. They've gotten rid of the Venomancer and the Night Stalker. 2 picks on the board for them now. Let's see if they choose to open with the Arc Warden or perhaps the Lone Druid once more. For those of you wondering who I am, I'm CloudX and you're watching the Dew Arena 2017 Qualifier number 1 Grand Finale for Dota 2. Winner of this particular matchup heads over to the main event, that is the LAN Finale, which should be taking place later this year. Last year's Dew Arena, in my opinion, hands down the best LAN event that I've had the pleasure of attending in India, and I really do have my expectations set right up there for this year as well. Let's see what KKL has in store for us as their first 2 picks. I would like to see something wacky coming out from them again, because they've shown that they can play cheese Dota, and you know, we spoke about how they had the element of surprise right in the get-go of this matchup, and they really proved it by picking some really strange heroes. Anyway, Omniknight's going to be their opening pick. Nothing too strange about that. Let's see what they go for as their next hero. I'd assume it's their support, because they've been picking up support duos for the most part in their first phase.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Well, they're really putting some thought into this one. With 1 minute and 25 seconds on the clock. KKL. They're going to go with the Pudge again. Okay, then.
Dire team pick.
I mean, no real complaints about this Pudge pickup. They've had some real success with Pudge in the previous game. We did see them running. Who was it? Was it? Yeah, it was Deep Breaths. No, was it? Yeah, it was Deep Breaths that was running the Pudge in the previous game, and he had an amazing game. I have to say, he was the MVP of that matchup for me. And looks like they're going to go for it once again. This is also a scary Pudge Omni Knight duo, if it is a support duo, that is. They could run this in the off lane if they feel like, and there's not much that a Silence can do in the face of that. Let's see what Aggressive 5 responds to this with. They have 1 minute and 40 seconds on the clock here to take a decision.
Ursa Warrior.
It'll be the Ursa.
Radiant team ban.
I guess that's one way to ignore the repel coming out from the Omni Knight, but can you really ignore the Guardian Angel when he decides to drop it? There's the Arc Warden ban. Of course it's going to come through. If you're not prepared for it, you might as well just use the tools at your disposal and ban that Arc Warden. It's a good choice coming out from A5. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Lone Druid ban as well here.
10 seconds.
But KKL, they've got this very standard pattern where they ban out the Veno, Night Stalker, then the Invoker. Let's see what the next ban is going to be. It'll be the Earthshaker. So Gorega's Earthshaker did give them quite a few problems in the previous game, and they've chosen to eliminate him this time around.
Radiant team pick.
A5 still looking for an offlaner, a secondary support, and their mid. Their options include heroes like the Batrider, the Queen of Pain, maybe even a Dragon Knight if they're looking to push. But you normally want to get a Diffusal Blade carrier in the face of the Omni Knight for that Guardian Angel. I guess Ursa could make a Diffusal in a situation, if it's absolutely situational. However, I wonder if they're going to go for something like the Mirana here. Kargar, Killarki. They'll choose to go for the Shadow Shaman themselves this time around. So they're the ones with the control for that Ursa, as well as the Serpent Wards. But all of this is subject to the silence and not popping that global silence. With the global silence popped and the Ursa jumping in, that's almost a guaranteed kill in the mid to late game phase. At least up until people get their BKBs on the side of KKL. And right now, I don't think the Omni Knight, Pudge, or the Shadow Shaman are candidates for a BKB.
Reserve time.
Third pick on the board, Aggressive 5. What do they have up their sleeves here? When you pick up an Ursa, you normally want to get control and lockdowns. It'll be the Slara to come in there. Not a bad choice at all. Again, just augmenting the physical damage with the Corrosive Haze. And of course, one of the better ways to initiate in the mid-game phase, once that Slara gets his Blink Dagger, to synergize with the Crush. There should be a roaming support Slara, I would assume. Kingslayer probably going to be taking it up.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
KKL. What are they going to pick here? Assuming this is the dual lane with the Omni Knight and the Pudge. Yeah, they're going to go with the Terrorblade. So that is one way to deal with physical DPS. Pick the hero with the highest base armor in the game. And augment your push further with that Metamorphosis and Illusion Army. A5. This might be a game to pick up the LC for Goredgo.
5 seconds remaining.
You need something to deal with the Terrorblade illusions this game, and I mean LC is really the best pick that comes to mind.
Reserve time.
Alternatively, they could pick up something like a mid Ember Spirit. So to summarize, I think the best ways to deal with the Terrorblade are either you find a way to efficiently clear out his illusions, which is where the overwhelming odds from the LC would work wonders, or you stack up on the magic and pure damage to ignore his armor for physical damage reduction. In which case, a Lina mid wouldn't be a terrible choice at all for aggressive 5. There's really nothing stopping them from picking up both the Lina as well as the LC this game. Both Lina and LC have a lot of synergy between each other as well with the duel and Laguna Blade to blow up a target. So I personally do think that might be the way to go for them. But we'll have to wait and watch. 20 seconds on the clock here for A5 to take a decision.
Remaining.
They're actually running out of time here.
Seconds remaining.
They're going to go with the darks here. Okay. Did not see this one coming. I mean, one could argue that there is magic damage coming out with the ion shell and, of course, the control with the vacuum to help with that Ursa. But I don't know. I can't say I'm a very big fan of this. At least they're going to have that mech online early. And given that there isn't too much burst damage coming out on KKL, the mech should work wonders versus them. Again, that Viper ban from aggressive 5, while Tinker gets removed by KKL. A5. I think we're going to see a Lina pick coming out here. It does seem like the most sensible thing to do.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Wonder what KKL's middle laner is going to be here. Yeah, there it is, the Lina from A5, and there's no TA to deal with it, so this is going to have to be either a Puck or a Queen of Pain coming out on KKL. Maybe if they want to go for an OD here, I think that could work for them. But then you want, I think they definitely want some more control for that Terrorblade. I do like the Puck pickup from them, if that's what they choose to go for.
Reserve time.
However, that would mean that they'll have to rely on just the Terrorblade for physical damage in the entire game, which is a risky proposition. Maybe a Shadow Fiend? I think a Shadow Fiend, Dragon Knight, Puck. These would be my top 3 picks for KKL this game. Dragon Knight because then they just made the message clear that they want to push and they want to push early. And there is a potential Silver Edge carrier on the side of A5. However, up until they get it, the Dragon Knight is going to be an absolute beast to deal with. It's also a good way to respond to the Slara armor reduction. But no, they'll go with the Storm. Well, it does give them initiation, else they were completely reliant on the Pudge to start fights off with the hook. And they've also got a bit of mobility now coming in, but picking a Storm into a Silencer means that he's more than likely going to have to build first item Yule Scepter. All right, for those of you that are just tuning in, you're watching the Dew Arena Finale for the first qualifier, Aggressive 5 versus KKL. The score is 1-1 in this best of 3 matchup. The winner of this particular game heads on over to the LAN Finale. I'm CloudX, and I hope you guys have had a blast so far. I'm looking forward to an explosive Game 3. And honestly, you can't count out KKL. They've played some solid Dota, and they're living, breathing proof that even an unknown team can make it to the upper echelons of Indian Dota if you try hard enough. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The silly Indian pause once again. Because this is the opportune moment to go and take a dump. Anyway, this gives me some time to do the introductions once again. You've got Shadow Shaman on. You've got Perseverance playing the Shadow Shaman. You've got Terrorblade handled by Aggressive. Deep Breath's going to be playing that Pudge. Arrow's going to be handling the Storm Spirit, and that puts Superstar on the Omni Knight. On the other side, you've got Flare playing the Silencer. Lena's going to be handled by Paddling, aka Tongo. You've got Slaughter in the hands of Kingslayer, aka Pinkman. Ursa's going to be played by Nagi, and that puts Darkseer in the hands of Koredko. Superstar on this Omni Knight. Looks like they're going to be running an off-lane Omni Knight this game with the Pudge staying at bottom for now. He started with a Salve and a Clarity Potion, so he's just going all in here. Looks like we're not going to see a contest on either of the runes. Should be a peaceful start with both teams picking up 2 runes apiece. What usually happens in game 3s is that both teams tend to mellow it down, playing it safe, because the stakes are really high, and you no longer have the cushion to fall back on if you were to throw a game or lose a game. Negi preemptively starting off with a point in the Fury swipes. This is a little unconventional, I have to say. Probably want to hold on to the point to see if you can get a kill with the Earth Shock at level 1.
The battle begins.
Kingslayer, he started off with the Boots of Clarity and a set of Tangos, so we should see him getting fairly active on the map. But now, look at Superstar, he's actually trying to pull the creep wave out. Bad idea, my friend, you're going to take quite the beating here. He does have the repel, but here comes the Slaughter as well. This should be first blood, and there the Fury swipes are going to add up the damage, and well, it'll be intelligence going in favor of the Silencer as well. This works really well for them. But meanwhile at mid, they've gone in with the shackles. They're going for the return kill. Tongo's the one that's going to go down. Deep Queens, he's got the salve popped and will survive. So at the end of it all, it seems like it does work out in favor of KKL. Scoring a kill on the middle laner is always more crucial than scoring a kill on that off laner, especially given that the middle lane is skewed towards the leader in this matchup. Interesting stuff coming out from them. KKL just not going to take things lying down. Well, here's Deep Breaths looking for... I don't think they can actually score kills here. Both the supports are just here to try and zone each other's middle laners out. Deep Breaths will be the one to be zoned out first. They know he's got no salve and no consumables, which is why they're okay with committing some of those spells on him. However, Kingslayer's taking quite a beating himself. Meanwhile, Superstar getting zoned out by that Silencer, but can stick around and leech EXP as this dire creep wave goes to work on the neutrals. How's the bottom lane looking, Koredko? He's at 8 CS. Terrorblade's also at 8 CS himself, but he's being forced to last hit under his tower, which really isn't too much of a problem for Terrorblade when he's got Poor Man Shield and his already ridiculous amount of armor. Big stacks though here. The Iron Shells gonna prove to be quite bothersome here, taking down these stacks in their face. In fact, yeah, Koredko's getting a fair bit of money from these creeps as well. Oh man, Koredko. Oh no way, come on. You can't die to a Darkseer like this. That's just silly. Perseverance. He's gonna take a lot of damage himself, and he's got no more regenerative items, so this is more than likely gonna be a base trip for this Shadow Shaman. Alright, go. I think he's already won this lane. He's sitting at what? 1300 net worth and level 3 as an offlane Darkseer, and he's the one with the advantage in terms of consumables versus the heroes on the side of KKL. However, on the top lane, you've got the Boots of Speed picked up for Superstar already, so it's probably going to be impossible to score this kill on the Omni Knight. I mean, they don't really have control apart from a Slaughter that could come in with the Crush and I mean, a 1.25 second stun duration is not enough to bring down Superstar, unless they can get the silence off with the last word as well. Got a triple disconnect coming out from Aggressive 5. Hopefully they'll rejoin this game quickly. Okay, looks like Kingslayer is going to have to restart his PC, but that gives him some time to evaluate everyone's item choices. Yeah, you've got that bottle now coming out for Arrow. Tongo again choosing to go for the second Null Talisman first instead of picking up the early bottle. I guess that's going to give him a lot more firepower now in the lane. I mean, it's already a matchup that skews in favor of the Lina, and now he's just got that extra bit of damage and intelligence to work with to keep the Storm Spirit at bay. You can already see 18 and 4 versus 8 and 1 on the Lina versus the Storm Spirit. So clearly, Lina is pulling ahead here in this laning stage. Well, the Pudge is hanging around here, leeching whatever EXP he can, and I guess he was just waiting for the money for his boost of speed before he can go about making plays again. We've got that Radiant Observer Ward on the cliff as well, so if the Pudge tries to walk in and pull the creep aggro back, Tongo could smack him with an LSA, but I say that as there's no LSA picked up on him yet. Aggressive meanwhile on the bottom lane. He's calling out a salve on that courier soon. Oh, Garrett go. His soul ring is near completion. Flare. He's got that bonus 2 intelligence at the start, but hasn't really had too much success over and above it. I mean, this is, let's face it, this Aggressive 5 lineup is not really meant to decimate their lanes. It's just meant to stay alive and farm till the mid-game phase when they start putting the global silence to work. On the other hand, I think the lanes from KKL are geared towards scoring some kills, at least on the off lane with the Shadow Shaman and that Terror Blade. They have a lot of early tower takedown potential. I think a lot's going to ride on this Pudge's rotations. He's going to have to be, he's going to have to make that massive impact that he did in game 1 as well. So probably expecting him to move off of this lane and go hunting in the next couple of minutes or so. For those of you that missed the last Dew Arena edition, you really missed something amazing. Be sure to get your butts down to the next LAN event that happens. I'm not too sure on the location of the Dew Arena finale, but wherever it is, I would really recommend blocking your travel plans as soon as the announcement is made, because take it from me, someone that's been around in the esports scene for, I mean, donkey's years now. The Dew Arena 2016 was by far the best LAN that I've attended in the country. You need to come to Dew Arena 2017 because I'm expecting some major improvements and upgrades from the last time as well. So a few things that happened at Dew Arena that don't really happen anywhere else. One, the entire event happened in the Kingdom of Dreams, which is a venue that just blew my mind, honestly. Two, you had Rajiv Makhani coming and inaugurating the stage, which was also another first for Indian esports. And three, you had some international talent coming down as well. I believe Hector from Flipside Tactics was there to grace the CSGO audience. Definitely worth a visit. Expect some cool stuff coming out Dew Arena 2017 as well. But that's what both these teams are fighting for. A chance to make it for arguably the most prestigious LAN in the country. As far as the qualifiers go, there's 4 separate qualifiers, and well, this is just the first of 4, which means that the loser of this particular match still has an opportunity to try again in qualifier 2, 3, and 4 to try and make it to the main event. Pudge still hanging around this middle lane, just farming whatever little bit that he can and getting that bonus EXP, while Storm Spirit actually retreated into the jungle to pick up the bounty rune and is now just farming the jungle while Pudge takes up farm priority on this middle lane. I don't think the Pudge is a lot safer than the Storm Spirit was in this lane, especially with this Slara coming into the vicinity, hoping to make a play. But Slara's movements have been spotted, so Deep Breaths can conveniently deny that creep, but Tongo will punch him in the back with it. He even throws down that Dragon Slave, almost taking him down there. One more hit would have done it. But that'll be a base strip for the Pudge, while Arrow will come in to get the EXP and farm in the lane. Back at bottom, Goredgo just doing his thing as always, farming up the creeps, the neutral creeps rather, with his Ion Shell, and now even surging towards that bounty rune to deny the storm, and he's gonna get the deny off as well. Oh, Arrow, he's gonna be pissed. There's a haste rune on the top lane as well, and given that Tongo's bottle is now on the way, it's only fair for the Slaughter to stick around and guard this for a little longer. Here comes the Pudge though. Gonna replenish Arrow's bottle. They're doing everything they can to give this Storm Spirit every little advantage that he can get. Meanwhile, Slaughter moves towards the bottom to join up with Goredgo. There's a ton of synergy between the Darkseer and that Slaughter here. With a sprint and the Ion Shell, followed up with a Storm. There we go, there's the Crush, the Ion Shell to start things off. Perseverance already slowed down with the Crush, takes a beating, gets the Hex off, but this should be his death. The question is, are they going to get a return kill? In fact, they're going to look for a second, as Aggressive is the one that's running forward in the surge from Goredgo, chasing forward under the tier 1 tower. They will conveniently kill him off. And it questions the decision making coming out from the Terrorblade to run instead of turning and fighting under his tower. It's 2 kills for Aggressive 5 on this off lane on the back of Slaughter's rotation. His middle lane is prepping for a possible kill on the Lina, but they have the Shrine to work with now. Error. Missed out on a little bit of that. And he didn't even swap out his Null Talisman and Iron Branch for the extra bit of mana regen. By the way, he is at level 5, almost at level 6, while Tongo, he's crossed the level 6 mark. He connects an LSA here and Error is dead. As that was happening again on the bottom lane, they end up scoring a kill. They're going for another one. Yet again the Crush with the Ion Shells. It's a double kill for Goredgo, who's finally going to get hooked. The Surge, though, doesn't get him quite far away enough, as he will finally end up losing his killing spree to the Pudge. But the damage has been done. That's consecutive deaths on the Shadow Shaman and the Terrorblade. It looks like all 3 lanes are going in favor of Aggressive 5 in this early game stage, as Negi now gets a lot more breathing room on this top lane to free farm. Lina with the haste, ensuring that the creeps stay under the tier 1 tower of the enemy, which makes it much harder for the Storm Spirit to come in and last it. In fact, Perseverance, he's gonna have to Hex here. LSA gonna miss. Perseverance with the shackles. Here comes the Pudge, deeping into the tier 1, has the hook. No, he doesn't have the mana for it. There's a haste rune on Tongo. It's now worn out. He's got the LSA, goes up onto the cliff, not turning around just yet. Here's the Slaughter coming in, the Crush is available. He gets the Crush off on 2, followed up with the LSA. Laguna not going to be fired, as the hook will get the kill. Deep Breaths gets that kill, as Kingslayer is going to go down as well. The recovery is real, and again it's on the back of this Pudge, who gets himself a double kill. And this even gives Storm Spirit some EXP and assist gold. However, the top tier 1 tower does go down in exchange, as Flare will be the one to claim the money for it. Five and 4, 7 minutes in, Aggressive 5 being unnecessarily aggressive. But while that's happening, Goredgo just continues to do his thing at the bottom lane. He's just dominating them here. Perseverance, however, stays alive. But while that was happening as well, middle lane they scored the kill on error. What the heck is going on here? Aggressive 5. But then the jab from the left and the hook from the right. Well, at least the Terrorblade didn't commit the metamorphosis for that last fight. It's Darkseer sitting on top of the network charts now because of those multiple kills that he's gotten. He's at 4-1-1 with 44 CS. His mechanism is going to be coming out and an absurdly good timing here. Tongo. He's going to pop the shrine here for himself and possibly look to make a play. That Laguna Blade is not available for another 16 seconds, however. Back at bottom. I've seen this movie before. Kingslayer sees him, charges him, crushes him, and has the Ion Shell already going to work. Aggressive is going to go down yet again as Goredgo with the vacuum pulls him back. Perseverance's rotation won't do much either. Another 2 kills going in favor of Aggressive 5. His bottom lane just cannot be left alone, but Deep Breaths runs into Flare for now, has that last word, drops it down, needs to try and evade this hook. Actually does evade it. Unbelievable. That should not have happened. Here comes Tongo. He's going for Deep Breaths as well. Does have the LSA, but connecting that one is a tall order. Looks like they will survive and again walk away with just those 2 kills in the bottom lane as they look to take down the last tier 1 tower for the Radiant side. KKL. A rather uncomfortable situation this early on. There we go. Smoke rotation coming out from the Pudge and the Shadow Shaman. Gonna move towards the Ursa. They know that he's been left to his own devices, and Negi knows that he's unsafe as well. So he just stays back and dodges a bullet. No, he doesn't. There's the hook. Finding him inside the jungle. They score the kill anyway. You know, it's pointless when your core ends up dying despite you taking a tier 1 tower. The point of the rest of the team grouping up at bottom is to create space for the 1 position to farm, and if he's going to get greedy and farm close to the lane like this despite knowing that everyone is off the map, that death is entirely on him. And his team's efforts have gone to vain. Up top, TP in from the silencer as Omni Knight and the rest of his crew will retreat. Meanwhile, Ursa doing what Ursa does best. Jumps into the pit and goes to work on the big man himself. Just 10 minutes in, all tier 1 towers taken down, and Aegis is going to go in favor of Aggressive 5, and things are looking really dodgy here for KKL. Their recovery is going to have to come on the back of big plays from the Pudge, but look at what's happening at bottom. Double Ion Shells will just cleave through the HP of this Terrorblade, forcing him to last it under his tier 3 tower, not even his tier 2.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The Global Silence is online as well and yet to be used. Storm Spirit's gonna have to be careful about the way he initiates in these next few fights. And I'd be damn surprised if he chooses not to go for the Yule Scepter this game, considering he's opted to pick up the mana boots first. It does seem to be the Bloodstone going his way. Goredgo also doing the right thing, building towards the hood and then eventually a pipe. That'll render the Shadow Shaman as well as the Storm Spirit useless once again and will help to add some defense versus the Pudge and his rot. As for the Ursa, it's going to be the Vlad's finished up for him soon, and then the Blink Dagger. There is a dire observer web watching all these shenanigans from the Pudge and the Shadow Shaman, so Darkseer is not going to die to this gank. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Kingslayer using this time to try and farm his own Blink Dagger. Despite 3 tier 1s in a row, Sean, he's not as close to it as one would imagine. And well, looks like he's gonna die once again here. Does drop the Corrosive Haze, gets the crush off, but it's onto a repelled Storm Spirit, which means he's gonna die here. And again, his Blink Dagger gets set back. Well, that's happening. The bottom lane, they go in and they end up bringing down the Pudge. That's a dominating streak now taken away by Negi. If they get this tier 2 tower as well, it might just be well worth it to even lose their slaughter. Top lane, Goredko jumps into the fray, wants to defend this by himself. He's got the mech to work with, pops the surge, gets hit with another electric vortex, or rather with the overload, I'm sorry. But he has managed to pull the creep wave back, which means that this defense can be mildly successful. The bottom tier 2 has gone down, the top tier 1 stands, and they even got that kill on the Pudge earlier on. A5 still in a commanding situation here. They've still got that Aegis to work with on the Ursa, so the moment he gets his Blink Dagger, they should look to play extremely aggressively going for this tier 2s. They've already taken down all the towers in this bottom lane except for the tier 3. Now Kingslayer with his Invis Rune walks into a Terrorblade Illusion. The Flare coming in as well, this is probably a bad idea. Looks like they're heading towards bottom where the real Terrorblade is hanging out, and they've got that Blink Dagger on the slaughter. No, they actually don't have the Blink. They're just going to run in here. There's the hook. The Global Silence is there as well, which means they can't quite control the Ursa, who comes right back in and finishes the job on the Terrorblade. Again, the core on the side of KKL ends up hitting the deck. Tongo has moved himself up top where Arrow was trying to split push a tier 1 tower. Back in the jungle, we now got Goredko sitting with the full Hood of Defiance, and we've actually seen Arrow, who has the zip away available. He's actually really out of position here and should be going down. There's the pull, they've got the last word as well. No real crush needed. They'll kill him with the Laguna Blade, and again, Flare will steal some intelligence. Not to mention the Bloodstone charge that just got added to Tongo. Aggressive 5. Playing a whole different side of Dota here in this game, in game 3. Finding the crucial pickoffs and just racking up the lead. Going for objectives and playing a lot more disciplined now. As opposed to that Storm Spirit who was creep skipping with no vision whatsoever. And little mana to work with.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well, first Aegis is finally timed out here from Neji, but I don't think he's too bothered about it, considering his Blink Dagger is finished and he's well on his way to picking up a Basher. Meanwhile, Kingslayer has finally found some farm time and picks up his own Blink Dagger. This gives Aggressive 5 a lot more opportunities to start the fight on their terms. Negi not going to stick around to find out what happens when Arrow jumps upon him, but at this point I think it's Arrow that needs to be afraid of him. As for Tongo, his Shadow Blade is almost complete, but it looks like they're going to try and make a play here. Smoke movement coming out from the Pudge, Omni Knight and the Shadow Shaman. Also a smoke coming out from Flare and his boys. Remember, they have that Global Silence. The smokes have been dispelled. The Blink in the Crush along with an Iron Shell at the ready. Global Silence pop. Vacuum is there as well. 1 kill, 2 kill. Looks like Flare gets himself the intelligence from 2 of them. As they're now on the hunt looking for more. Aggressive has been spotted out. Kingslayer wants to get this kill off but cannot continue chasing like this. they're happy with what they got. 2 kills on both supports and the 1 offlaner and 1 support on the back of a global silence, and they'll convert that into a tier 2 tower while sacrificing their own tier 1. Aggressive 5 should consider healing up and going again for the last remaining tier 2 before going for the next Roshan, and thus ending the game. But on the side of the Radiant, they really need to get some farm time for this Terror Blade. He is super starved right now. He's at level 10. In fact, he's far behind any of the heroes on the side of Aggressive 5, barring the Silencer. Lina dodging a bullet there again at the bottom lane. Just conveniently TP's out of there, while the rest of her team is up on the top side, pushing in already, looking to seal the deal with the last remaining outer tower. Got some lag coming out on the side of the Dire. They're claiming it's server lag, but it's very likely that it's not. Tongo. He's got his full Shadow Blade finished up as well, so he's going to be able to join up with his teammates on the top side very easily. The Pudge, he's at the ready though. He wants to try and make a play with those long range hooks once he gets that Ether Lens. That really does seem like their only way back into this game, by getting a long range hook off on a core, finishing him off before the fight breaks out. The only problem is, this time they have a silencer who can pop a global silence when things go wrong like that. Pudge, hoping to pull someone all the way back to the tier 3 instead. That tier 2 goes down and they're showing no signs of stopping, by the way. They're just going to the high ground. Not even going to wait for the next Roshan. Maggie. Shelled up. Ready to go in. Serpent Wards drop. Kingslayer jumps in. They need to retreat here and watch for the Pudge hook. And they're going to get away. No casualties. Textbook stuff. They gotta wait for the wards time out now and then try and make a play again, either onto Rush when he respawns or back onto the high ground. Those Serpent Wards and the Metamorphosis in fact were expended, so this puts Aggressive 5 in a very cool situation. Perseverance. Still struggling to pick up his arcane boots even. That's just, I mean, a 15k net worth, the deficit 20 minutes in it's really trouble signs for the Radiant side here. KKL, they need to step up and do something here. They're just unable to find any pickoffs to get anything done of worth here. Well, Flare just goes AFK in the Rush pit waiting for him to respawn. There's a zip on the Kingslayer, but Kingslayer is also fairly too tanky now for him to take down. Rush is about to respawn and Neji sees it. He should get this Aegis quite comfortably. Got a hook. It's just on a centaur, along with the Dismember. They're just farming as much as they can before the high ground defense. They have committed to just fighting on the high ground here and not going outside the base, but that could be a mistake. And Negi comes knocking with the Aegis and on the cheese on Lina, or vice versa. Also got a DD rune at the ready to try and siege from the low ground, so this is not looking good at all for KKL. But that said, they do have the Metamorphosis and the Mass Serpent Wards ready once again, so there is some opportunity to defend, and a well-placed Guardian Angel might just turn the tides of battle in their favor again. There's the cheese just lying on the floor here behind. I'm not sure for who that's been left. I said it will be the Lina that holds on to it. Here we go. 22 minutes in. Aggressive 5 threatening high ground in game 3. As we're looking for a solid defense here. Deep breaths, fires the hook, finds nobody. There's the jump in though. They've got the Serpent Wards dropped down. The global silence is there, so no Guardian Angel comes through the back. The wall is there and it's beautiful. They're brought down to. There's the buyback from the Fudge, but the Guardian Angel has been dropped and they've brought it behind onto the Lina. She pops the cheese and continues to fight. The Corrosive Haze has been dropped. Meanwhile, on the front lines, the Aegis has been expended. Deep breaths. They're just circling around that Ursa who's gonna respawn, gets hexed, but the crush comes out onto 3. There's the zip. Negi's in trouble. He turns around and tries to fight, but Arrow with a double kill. And again, against all odds, they've done it. They managed to get a couple of kills, but they did have to sacrifice their barracks. KKL on the back foot here. However, with a little bit of gold going in their favor. That's a Bloodstone finished up on the Storm, by the way. He's got his Yules complete now as well, along with 15 charges on it. They're suddenly in a position to fight once more, but they're going to have to deal with that constant lane of push coming in from the top side. Ursa with the fully finished up Aghanim Scepter now for the next skirmish. It chose not to go for the BKB, which is a bit questionable to be honest. It looks like they're gonna smoke up again and make a play. I mean, they are grouping up, or sort of grouping up at least. DD rune available to be picked up. Lina's gonna be the one to pick it up here. With the haste as well as the DD rune now available. She's also picked up an ultimate orb with 16 Bloodstone charges. It's getting a step closer to her Lincoln Sphere. In fact, just one ring of health to go before she gets it. It should come on the back of this shrine. And maybe a couple more creeps. Storm, gonna zip on out to safety, aware of what's coming his way. Seems like a questionable move to stick around here and not go back and finish that Lincoln's, considering she's bought out most of the components for it. But I guess they don't want to waste any more time, don't want to give any more recovery time over to the KKL squad. In one lane, already pushing in from the top side, slowly but surely, they're gonna chip away. And there's a hook from downtown, finds Lina, but they do enter the fray with the shrines pop the back the wall as well. They brought down Perseverance. They're going for the next one. Deep Breath stays alive, but the Guardian Angel pop Lina, taking a beating, getting zipped upon, getting jumped upon, gets surged on out, but ends up surviving with the Glimmer Cape as well. Oh man, that was a defense from the depths of hell coming out to keep that Lina alive, as now they go in and finish the job onto the TB as Ursa gets hooked closer towards Deep Breaths. Has that Enrage now available, triple kill from Negi, who's gonna pop the Enrage, turns around, gets control with the Electric Vortex, goes walking in. Hasn't got the Greaves available just yet. Looks like Negi will finally end up going down. Turns around again, starts pounding away, and the life steal kicks in. It's an ultra kill for him. As Arrow, the only survivor, is he gonna give up the rampage? Looks like he won't. It's gonna be just the Laguna Blade that gets the kill. Perseverance with the control onto Goredgo, but it's going to be another lane of barracks with a near complete team wipe in favor of Aggressive 5. They'll bring themselves one step closer to victory with that one. Even taking down some of Era's Bloodstone charges. What a haphazard team fight that turned out to be. And that's why he needs a BKB, really. He's just being kited and controlled so hard here in these fights. It looks like he's going for the Basher instead. How's the Terrorblade looking in terms of items? He's heading towards a Manta style, but It's still going to be a while before he gets it. This next fight is going to have a Lina with an Aghanim Scepter. The Lincoln Sphere online, as well as a Crystallis. So her damage output just cannot be ignored either. That Lina really should not have been alive in that fight. The Glimmer Capes, the Greaves, the Global Silence, everything thrown on her to keep her alive there. Even a Surge, if I'm not mistaken. But again, Deep Breaths is the one that's making plays for his team and really trying to keep them alive as best as he possibly can. He has undoubtedly been the MVP of this series for me. Looks like they're going to pop a smoke and play aggressive Dota now. Not too keen on fighting inside the base, considering how quickly that Ursa and Lina can break buildings. But it's going to be a counter smoke coming out from Aggressive 5. They still have the tier 1 at the ready. Deep Breaths is going to be revealed. He's on the high ground. The pinks come out. The blink is there. The Global Silence has been dropped as well. And Negi jumps in, finds the perfect possible target and brings down the Omni Knight. Next they'll go on the punch. He's going to hit the deck. Lina with the Edison, and Laguna hits an illusion. But it doesn't really matter as the Sunder doesn't connect on the back of that Lincoln. It's 4 down on the side of the Radiant. And 5 as the bash connects. The GG gets called. And Aggressive 5 are the first Dota team to secure their slot at the Dew Arena 2017 LAN finale. Huge win coming out from them, but great stuff coming out from KKL as well. I'm very curious to see whether or not they can qualify for the LAN after all. To qualify number 2, 3, or number 4. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you've enjoyed, of course, do hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, etc. I'm CloudX. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great evening.